Big Ronnie saying if you don't watch this guy's YouTube channel, you're making a big mistake.
Is up, everybody? How you doing? It is Monday, March 11th. That's just insane to think. Monday, March 11th, 2024. Here we are. We are at our new permanent start time. 7 p.m. on the West Coast of these good old United States of America will be the new permanent start time for what I'm now calling the Monday. Like the Horror Movie Monday. I think I got that right. Horror Movie Monday show, where we're going to talk about the news in the world of horror movies. Sometimes we'll dive in. We'll touch on other genres as well, but specifically focusing on horror movies as we do. We'll talk about that every Monday at 7 p.m. And I forgot to add my little banner here. Look, I got to get together. I got to get it together over here. But there it is. It got the little banner going right there. And give me just a few moments here, and I will say hello to everybody in the chat here. But right now, we do have some fun stuff to talk about this week. So I'm going to dive right in. But first, if you would, everybody, please hit that thumbs up button for me. It would mean a whole heck of a lot to me and all these dead fellows on my shirt. It would mean a lot to us if you would do that. Very simple little thing of hitting that thumbs up button really helps out the channel and the algorithms here. So please, I beg of you, smash the thumbs up. And with that being said, let's talk about the news in the world of horror movies. First of all, we'll talk about some movies that are coming up very soon that I'm kind of interested in seeing. Number one being Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I'm immediately getting blown up. I thought I had muted, but apparently I did not. I apologize for that. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, not this coming week, but next week, March 22nd. I'm holding out hope that this is a little bit better than the last one. The last Ghostbusters movie, I mean, production-wise and cast-wise and everything was fine, but it was basically like watching Stranger Things for an hour and 45 minutes and then Ghostbusters for 15 minutes. I hope this feels like Ghostbusters for the entire film. And then, being chilly, and Dan. Immaculate also comes out that very same day, March 22nd. This is like a nun who has like an immaculate conception, right? Where she's like a virgin, but she's now boom pregnant, and then like bad things start happening. So is she going to be giving birth to, the next incarnation of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, or is it going to be Satan? What is going on in her womb, and the craziness all around surrounding that? Looks kind of fun. It very much like an Exorcist or like a nun type movie, dark and gloomy, a kind of horror movie I really dig. So I'll be looking forward to that too. And then Late Night with the Devil. This is, I don't know if it's based off of like a real talk show or anything, but this supposedly happened in like 1977. There was this late night talk show where they had people on and they were trying to bring like the devil out of this girl or something. And then like bad shit starts to happen while the program is live on TV. It looks kind of fun. It looks kind of fun. So that's coming out also. So not much this week. But next week coming up, we do have some fun stuff to check out. But this week, if you've not been to the theaters yet, recently, We got Imaginary. So if this week, if there's nothing coming out, there's still a couple things you could go to the theater and check out if you're interested in. Imaginary, this is something I'm going to dive into a little bit more. I did go see this last night, but we're going to dive into a little bit more later on after I get through the rest of the news. I'll give you maybe more of a detailed breakdown on it. But Imaginary, visually, it was very pleasing. There was a bunch of different vibes going on from like different movies. I was digging it. And then we got to a point where I'm like, okay, some things need to start happening. And maybe they did, or maybe they didn't. I don't want to spoil it. I won't spoil it for you. But by the time I walked out of the theater, I was like, okay, that was fun. If I was like an 8-year-old horror movie fan. So for me, I wanted more out of it. I wanted a lot more out of it. But so I'm rating this. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. It's a 5 out of 10. It's right down the middle. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's a one-time watch, but it was kind of fun. But I will dive in to that a little bit more later on. And then also, if you want to go to the theater, Dune 2 is out right now. And that may be the Dune 1 poster. I don't know. I'm not too interested in the Dune movies. Not a fan. I tried to watch the first one. I just got bored and turned it off. And then Kung Fu Panda, very far from a horror movie, but a lot of us enjoy Jack Black. And so Kung Fu Panda 4 out in theaters right now. Also something if you are interested there. And we have some fun news coming up. I have like 5 different subjects to talk about here. But before I get into the news, let me say hello to everybody here, and then we'll talk about the actual news of the week here. Gail, what's up? How you doing? Here we go. Hello, Darkness, my old friend. Yes. Mrs. Robinson, I hope you're doing all right. And hopefully nobody is down at the bottom of a pool like drowning down there. B Sculptor, what's up? Sean 420, what's up? Major Reeves, Brian Sanchez, the Fluffy Gamer. Kevin Hampton, what's up? Nick B is in the house. Josh 8K, what up, Josh? We're going to talk about that a little bit more later on, but a 5 out of 10. Personally, at this point right now, I will say this. Imaginary, I would recommend saving your money watching it at home. It would be my recommendation. Just wait and stream it down the road. A big Oscar for Oppenheimer. Kevin, so I am not the biggest fan of awards shows. One, they are very like Hollywood is full of nutbags, and the less I know about these people, the more I like their movies. So I don't like seeing them get up on stage and really talking and letting me into their world. And Jimmy Kimmel is the biggest hypocritical douchebag on the planet. Jimmy Kimmel went from a guy who had a TV show where they had women bouncing on trampolines to watch their boobs bounce to being this holier than thou comic. Like, get off your high horse, Jimmy. Like you suck. You're a clown. So anyways, I did not want to see Jimmy Kimmel. The most of the award shows are just there to promote movies or companies. I don't buy into them. So I did see a couple little highlights, but I did not watch them. But Oppenheimer was a great film. So glad to hear that it got a good night. That is great. TC, what up? It's look at the Cinestalkers in the house. It's a Cinestalker. Cinestalker and I should be stalking up some Days of the Dead later, so we can don't tell nobody. We're gonna go out to Vegas and snap into a Slim Jim. Oh yeah, me and the Randy Macho Stalker over here. Oh yeah. He called you an 8-year-old. Yeah, I did call you an 8-year-old. Mr. Bones, what up? At least Dune has the sandworms. Yeah. You know what? It's been so long, Kevin, since I've seen like the first Dune from like the 80s. I don't remember anything about it, but the first one that came out a couple years ago just kind of bored me. And so I'm good. I hope anybody who watches it really enjoys it. I'm not wishing anybody to hate the movie, but it's just not for me. Pazuzu McGee, what up? What up? And the monkey is in the house. Decent. Imagine it reminds me of watered down Chucky. Think they will sell plush teddies to buy like this? I don't think, Monkey, I don't think the movie is going to do well enough to get toys. I don't think it's going to do that good. Indrid, what up? What up? Yeah, I didn't watch the Oscars, but saw the Oppenheimer got best pick. Nice. Okay, very cool. Yeah, TC, Jimmy did. He really did. I just, and I'm with you. I can't stand him. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. Reggie, what up? Watch the Oscars and enjoyed them. Awesome. That's very cool. Reggie, I'm glad you did. And again, just like movies, if you enjoy something, more power to you. Enjoy it, do your thing, and it's just not for me. I was actually at the theater during the Oscars last night. I was at the theater with my daughter, who is also my favorite Navy sailor, and the Fluffy Gamer stocked up on us. It was creepy. It was very creepy, where we were sitting there, and all of a sudden we turn around, and there's Fluffy Gamer, and it's like, what the heck? Fluffy Stalker over here. And so Fluffy followed us over to the theater and watched that movie with us. And then we walk out of the theater, and the God's honest truth, I'm supposed to go to Cinestalker's house after the movie last night. We're going to go down, hang out. We're going to have a little drinky poos, and we're going to stock it up and have some fun. We come out of the theater, and the headlight on my car is out. And so it's like, damn it, now I got to go, because I can't, what if the other one goes out or whatever? I can't be driving around at night with the headlight out. So I had to go over to Walmart, and it's like 9:30 something at night or whatever. Get over to Walmart, get in there. It takes forever to get somebody to come over to actually open the cabinet, because they have the light bulbs behind glass, and then get the bulbs, get out to the car, replace them. But yeah, by all that, by the time I got done with all that, we were coming up on like 11 o'clock. So it was just like too late to hang out with Cinestalker last night. But anyways, this weekend it should be going down, and we'll party it up, and we'll make up for it. We'll have backpacks of beer and all that goodness going on this weekend. So it should be a lot of fun. Man Show was amazing. OGP owned the first season. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, no, a Man Show was funny. The Man Show was funny. What's that noise? I'm hearing there's like a high-pitched tone or something going on over here somewhere. Wow. Yeah, it's Cinestalker. It definitely will snap into it. Oh, yes. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, Chauncey told me to. Yeah, no, that's right. And how funny the little teddy bear in there was named Chauncey, which, it's kind of funny because, and even Chauncey Phillips knows. He always knows people would call him Chauncey. And so it's funny that the bear was Chauncey. Now it's Chauncey Bear. You have Chauncey Phillips and Chauncey Bear. Kind of funny stuff there. I hope you enjoyed the movie I sent you. In Gail, we're going to be talking about that in just a moment. I do have viewer mail from Gail that we're going to talk about. We're going to dive into that too here very soon. Uncle Fluffy showed up. Yes, he did. Sean 420, what's up? Luther Mason, what's up? Color of Space with Nick Cage was a good flick. Nice. I have not seen that. Very cool. TC, don't forget, woke ass Jimmy used to play Karl Malone in full black. I know. That's why I say, TC, that is why I say Jimmy Kimmel is such a hypocrite, and I cannot stand him. I just can't stand him anymore, which is very sad. It is, because I really, really used to love Jimmy Kimmel. And when he first got the show, like that first week, I remember his new show, and Snoop's on there, and they're like smoking weed, and it was fun. But now he's too angry, and he's too political, and I just don't want nothing to do with him anymore. But with that being said, I think we're caught up on saying hello to everybody. So thank you all for hanging out with me. I appreciate you all. And if you came in after I said it, please hit that thumbs up button for me. If you haven't yet, it would mean a lot to me. But let's talk about some news, some fun stuff. There's some interesting stuff going down in the world of horror movies. The first thing I want to talk about is Final Destination Bloodlines. Yes, a new Final Destination film, Final Destination 6, is now filming. And creator Jeffrey Reddick came out and said this will add a whole new layer to the franchise while not giving away too much about the film. I don't know if they're going to kind of go back, like from part 1 to 5, where it goes like full circle, if it's just going to be in a new direction or what. But he says it's going to add a whole new layer to the franchise. So they're just filming now. So it's still a ways off. But man, if you're a fan of Final Destination films, there's another one coming your way. So kind of excited about that. And then The First Omen. This comes out April 5th. So I didn't put it in the coming soon movies because it's just a little bit far out. Still about, not quite a month out, but it's almost a month away still. But The First Omen, if you haven't seen the trailer for this, this looks pretty good. I am excited about this. It's a prequel to the Omen films. And they say it introduces us to the mother of all evil. So I'm looking forward to that. I wish I could play trailers for you to see. But if you haven't seen the trailer for The First Omen, I definitely recommend you check it out. And then something I'm so excited about, to something that I just Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Part 2. I am sure this is going to be equally as dog shitty as the first one. But this will be in theaters for only 3 days. I think they learned their lesson with the first one, how bad it was going to be. So if you want to see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey in theaters, you have March 26th, 27th, and 28th. That's it. 3 days in the theaters for fans to be really pissed off and walk out. I will not be paying to go see that. If somebody wants to send me a PayPal or a Venmo to buy my ticket, maybe I'll go. But I am not going to be paying to go see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. The first one was just so bad, so bad. And then you're like, wait, what? A Halloween 1978 poster? What's up with that? Well, this is the closest or most accurate piece of art that I can put up here to relay the news that we you've probably all heard that there is a new Halloween TV show coming up, and we got some good news out of it this week. One, it has nothing to do with David Gordon Green or his movies. So it's not going to be an aftermath of that or anything. They said the foundation for the show is the 1978 Halloween movie. So maybe it's going to be a direct sequel to that or something of that nature. But the foundation of it is from the 78 Halloween movie. And David Gordon Green has nothing to do with it. And speaking of David Gordon Green, a tiny bit of other news about David Gordon Green that you all will probably enjoy. Jason Blum has come out and said that David Gordon Green is out of the next Exorcist movie, and that the entire movie Deceiver, which was supposed to be Believer then Deceiver, may be scrapped. The whole script and everything, they might just scrap it. But being that they spent $400 million on the franchise, they are going to make another Exorcist movie, at least one more. But David Gordon Green will have nothing to do with it. So two cool things, two franchises that we love with a bozo that we don't love getting the boot from them. So to me, that is very, very fun stuff. And with that being said, we still got to talk about movie physical media releases for the week, recent watches, recent movies that I've watched, and viewer mail coming up. But look at this. Look at this. Oh, there's somebody at the door. Hang on. I gotta put on my headphones here. There's somebody at the door. And he's very impatient too. He keeps ringing the doorbell over and over and over. Gosh darn it. Come on, man. What's going on here? John, how many times do you have to ring the doorbell? Gosh, golly gee almighty. I can't hear you. Are you muted? Uh-oh. I think you're muted. Well, here we are. We're being joined. Oh, now you're unmuted. Try it again. Say something. Okay, interesting. Can anybody else hear John? Let me know if you all can hear John, because I can't. Let's see. Can I get an answer? Could somebody tell me if you can hear John? Because I can't. Nope. Okay. John, I'm gonna take you down here for just a second, and try and like exit out and then come back in and see if that corrects your audio real quick there. Anyways, I'm going to be joined by John Ward there, and because I've seen a couple movies recently that he was actually involved with, and so we're going to talk about those with him here in just a moment. Let's see, Surf Zombies and 13 Witches are on my 2025 watch list. They'll be amazing. Very cool. DG, what's up? Winnie the Poop. Yes, Winnie the Poop is for sure. It's not going to be good. And I own Winnie the Pooh. Ooh, you bought Winnie the Pooh Blu-ray Steelbook. Ooh, Mr. Bones. I would be embarrassed to say that. John, let's see if I can hear you now. Gosh darn it. No, I cannot hear you. Let me make sure that I have my settings. Edit mic settings. Microphone volume, automatically adjust, echo, noise cancellation. Are you is that a Bluetooth in your ear, John? Is that, and that's okay. Gosh. Yeah. Can you hear yourself through there? I guess I shouldn't be asking you questions because I couldn't hear your answer anyways. Bummer. Okay. Well, John, if you can, maybe try and ditch I know we'll probably, I do have a feedback remover. So hopefully if you just talk through the computer audio, maybe as opposed to the Bluetooth, maybe you'll be able to hear me if that's an option. I'm not sure. But okay, John is going to troubleshoot for a second there. We'll see, because we have a couple movies to talk about. John is very silent. Yeah, okay, thanks. Sorry. Go outside and ring the doorbell again. I know, maybe he rang the doorbell too much, and it blew out the speakers. In honor of the 45th year anniversary, they're bringing the original Dawn of the Dead back in theaters next month. Yeah, DG, there's a few movies that I've seen are coming back into theaters very soon. So hopefully, how are we looking now, John? Anything? So John, did it should ask.
How about that?
You. Oh, there you are. I hear you now.
Can you hear me okay?
I hear you just fine.
Okay. I had to switch what device I was on. So that's why.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you were able to get it figured out. That would have been quite the bummer had you not.
I figured this is appropriate. This is okay on here.
Decent natty ice. No, drinking alcohol on this channel is not only tolerated but highly encouraged. So, yes.
Thank you.
I'm going with the hard stuff this evening. My good old Diet Coke. So forgive me for not joining you with a spirited beverage, but
I just got off work, so I need something.
A little decompression.
Yes.
There you go. Nice. So let's see. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any. Okay. I think
speak.
We're
Yes.
up with the
Hello,
comments.
everybody.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Yes. So I've got to talk still about, let me just get through the 4K Blu-ray releases this week, and then we'll dive into who the
I'll be like every millennial while you do that then.
Oh, okay, perfect. So 4K Blu-ray releases this week. We got it's the James Cameron week. The Abyss from 1989, True Lies 1994, and Aliens from 1986, all getting 4K releases. And then Stephen King's version of The Shining getting a Blu-ray release this weekend. So Fluffy says, fire the audio guy. Yes, your audio technician needs a good spanking is probably what they need. But those are the big ones. So just those four right there. And then I do want to, before we get too deep into other stuff, I do want to talk about these because my good friend Gail sent me a couple items this week that are very, very cool. And I'm very excited. And I have not watched them yet because I've just been quite busy, but I will be checking them out. And one of the movies he sent me is Night of the Demons 2 on Blu-ray. So very, very cool. I did not own a copy of this, so this is very awesome. I can't wait to watch this on Blu-ray right here. Gail, thank you very much for that. I will be checking these out very soon. And another one, this is very cool to get in 4K, especially because I didn't own either of these, but to get a 4K copy of Silver Bullet. So very excited about that. This is these are definitely two must-haves for any horror movie collector. And so as the years go on, I'm still developing my collection. Although I'm up to about probably somewhere 2,200 movies now, but there are still several that I need to come up on. And Gail, thank you so much for these. Really, really appreciate it. And I will definitely do a video talking about them after I watch them both and give my thoughts on, how the 4K transfer looked, or, the Blu-ray transfer there. Just thank you so much for that, Gail. And if anybody else wants to send anything to me, I do have a P.O. box down below that I share with What Movie One. You can send it there. If you are a regular viewer, somebody that is always here all the time hanging out with me, that I would trust a little bit more than a new viewer follower, message me privately. I'll send you my home address. You can send them directly to me. We'll get them talked about a lot quicker there. So, but Gail, thank you so very much for that. You are an absolute legend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so Gail says, the Aliens 4K sucked. He overcorrected. Uh-oh. Have you seen it already, Gail? That's kind of frustrating. Fluffy loves Silver Bullet. A Deadpool fanatic. Better late than never, right? Better late than never. NG, what's up? How you doing? Anyone know when the next Kino sale will be? Reggie, my guess, Kino and Vinegar and Severin, they all have their halfway sales or their sales in May usually. So that's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing May. But Vinegar is going to be having a flash sale on the 15th. So just a few days from now, there'll be a halfway to Black Friday flash sale at Vinegar Syndrome coming up this weekend. So you want to check that out if you are a Vinegar fan. So John, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I am good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And everybody should know we saw John briefly over last weekend while we were out there in Vegas, just to drop off a little disc with him, some raw footage of the video that I shot at the Immortal Wars premiere. And but we didn't get to hang out at all. But there will be another time for that, I'm sure.
Yes. And the person who you wanted to give that to has it. So he has it. So that would be Joe Lujan, the director of Immortal Wars.
Nice. Well, great. And yeah, and if there's anything he can or wants to do with that, hopefully, it works out for him.
I was looking at some of your comments here. First, hello, Fluffy. How are you? How are you doing? Sorry, I could not hang out with you guys. Silver Bullet is awesome. The novella is better, but the movie is pretty good. So,
right on. Yes, yeah. For those of you new to John Ward, you will definitely note through the conversations we have, he is one of the guys that will definitely read the book as well as watch the movies. So if you want more of that, here's your guy, because I typically watch the movies, and very rarely do I get around to reading the book. There's a few that I've done that are interesting to compare, like The Shining and stuff, but John does much more of that type of thing. Robert C, what up? The absolute legend, Robert C, how you doing? Why did I see rumors about Rob Zombie Nightmare series? So there are some rumors going around about a Nightmare on Elm Street show, and there's some rumors attaching Rob Zombie to it. I don't know. I haven't seen enough to really put much stock into it yet, but man.
From what I've heard about that is the picture that's going around is from a fan film, and Rob Zombie has nothing to do with Nightmare on Elm Street. So that everybody is, it's all fake. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, it's fake.
Okay. Well, and hopefully, fingers crossed that is the case. I think for the things that I have seen, my talking about Rob Zombie movies, the movies that he's created, Devil's Rejects, House of Thousand Corpses, even 31 and Lords of Salem, I've enjoyed those. I enjoyed not nearly as much as Halloween 78, but I enjoyed his Halloween. But the Munsters and Halloween 2, very, very rough. So I'd rather him stick to his original work. But what say you on that, on Rob Zombie films?
I love his music. I have a love-hate relationship with the movies. So I was not a huge fan of House of Thousand Corpses. I'd like to see it unrated. That to me, it was just every slasher movie out there. It was nothing new. Devil's Rejects I thought was great. I don't think he's made a movie that's up to that standard or par. 31 was okay. Since I don't know the Munsters, since I've worked with Daniel Roebuck, I don't really want to say anything.
I know somebody else who worked with Daniel Roebuck, quite possibly on a film that you also worked with Daniel Roebuck on, and said nothing but wonderful things about the man. But
he's a good guy.
I think when it comes to movies, especially bigger budget movies, and I would consider the Munsters. Maybe it's not Indiana Jones budget, but it's definitely a lot bigger budget than Teddy Told Me To, for example, or Las Vegas Frankenstein, for example. I think it is. He may and probably would never ever come out and say that movie was pretty tough to get through. But I don't think he would be mad at any of us for going like, it wasn't our favorite, at least.
It's not my favorite Rob Zombie film by far, but I think I get what Rob Zombie was going for. A lot of people said it should have been shot in black and white. But it's or at least have a black and white version of it. I think he was trying to go for like the Munsters Ride Again or the Munsters Go Home. So the color movies that came out after the series, and that's what he was going for. The sets were great. I thought it was shot great. The music was good. I just didn't really. I don't know. I think I wanted more of a Banana Splits or Five Nights at Freddy's type of thing with it. Maybe go a little more violent. But I think Daniel's the best thing in it. But everybody did a good job. I'm not a fan of the third. What is it? Three from Hell. Three from Hell, I think, is one of the worst sequels I've ever seen. It's so poorly written that I don't know. I'd probably rather watch The Munsters.
Okay, interesting. And so, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Daniel Roebuck was the best thing as Grandpa Munster. He was phenomenal. Yeah. And I mean, like the makeup and everything, they did a hell of a job with that. But my biggest issue was Sherry Moon Zombie. I get it. It's Rob Zombie and his wife, his life partner. He wants to put her in everything. More power to him. She failed as Lily Munster, and not only that, but it was supposed to be when they were younger. and she already looked like she was 50 years old, even in the makeup. So that was tough for me. It was goofy. It was wonky, as the monsters should be, but maybe too over the top at points. So Jeff Daniel Phillips is fine. I love him. He's a great actor. But we were going for Rob Zombie's vision here. So a lot of times if you're upset with the acting in a movie, you have to go, well, is this the actor or is it the director? Because the actor might be able to nail it and the director goes, no, I want you to do it like this. And so, I just don't know where the blame lies for some of the things that bug me with that film. But ultimately I got to put it on Rob Zombie's shoulders because he is the director.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it didn't really hit theaters, and it was done in like a sub label of the company that helped produce it, and it's not. I think that when he went with like Three from Hell, that he was going back to what made money and what people liked. So
yeah,
it's kind of like what Stallone does, or at least what he used to do is he'd make a bomb, and then he'd make a Rambo, and then he'd make a Rocky, and then he'd make another bomb, and then he'd make a Rambo, make a Rocky.
Yeah.
And that almost seems like Rob Zombie was doing the same thing. So
yeah,
I'm very hit and miss. I saw some in the comments mentioning like Lords of Salem, which was fine. It was okay. But Sherry Moon Zombie wasn't great in it, and I tend to think that Rob Zombie makes more masturbation movies for himself than he does for an audience. So
let me just say, Deborah Kleiner, what's up? How you doing, buddy? Jennifer, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. And the Firefly trilogy, yes. I enjoyed Three from Hell. I found it hilarious at parts. Nice, Jude. And here's my thing. Like I said earlier, talking about even the Oscars last night. Just because I don't enjoy something doesn't mean that I wish or want everybody else to hate it. It's all art. We interpret things differently. And that's the best part of having a conversation. If we all agreed about everything, we wouldn't need to talk about it. So, but going back to Rob Zombie films, my favorite is, and I just love the kind of grindhouse look that you get like in the second half of the film. And also because that was my introduction to Rob Zombie films. I love House of a Thousand Corpses. It's one of my
a lot of people do.
Maybe top 10 horror movies of all time for me. But Devil's Rejects, I understand why everybody says Devil's Rejects is better. But I would still probably prefer House over Devil's Rejects. And then after those two, my next favorite Rob Zombie film would probably be his Halloween. And we haven't talked about that really. What are your thoughts on Rob Zombie's Halloween movie?
Well, there's 3 versions of it. So there's the work print that Rob Zombie released maybe out as a torrent, and which I don't think you can get anymore. It's a work print. And then there's the theatrical version, and then there's the Blu-ray version. And so if we're going off of like the Blu-ray version, I enjoyed it, but I liked Halloween 2 better.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Yeah, because it's more of a Rob Zombie movie. I mentioned this on a video that I made over on my channel where when you do, I think this was for The Mechanic, the Jason Statham movie.
Oh,
where
I love Jason Statham.
Oh, so do I. And when you do a remake, the first film is kind of restrained by the original movie. But when you do a sequel to it, it's not. You could go fully whatever you want to do. So like Mechanic Resurrection is better than The Mechanic, I think. And so I think Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, that uncut version that's out on Blu-ray or extended cut, is better than his Halloween. Of course, the Halloween, I think almost any remake is pointless, but and there definitely, I agree with you on that in a lot of aspects. There are very few movies that I'm like, yeah, we really need a remake of this.
But we know it's going to happen with a lot of movies. We know it's going to happen, and you just hope they do a good job. But for me, one of the things that I love about Rob Zombie's Halloween movie is I felt like we got a lot more detailed look into young Michael Myers and what really, because he was, for all intents and purposes, a normal young boy growing up in a dysfunctional house with a dad or a stepdad or whatever who had a cast that said cunt on it, and I thought that was funny. But all the different writing on the cast. But anyways, he for all intents and purposes was a normal young boy put into a shitty situation, and life went off the rails, and he became the Michael Myers that we all have learned to love for his destruction of stupid people. But I did like that deeper look into it, and I would be a fool to even put it in the same conversation as John Carpenter's from '78. Go ahead.
So I'm glad that you said that, because I was gonna bring that up. So I find Rob Zombie to be a hypocrite, because if you watch documentaries on the original Halloween that he's interviewed on, he says it's the greatest movie ever made. Nothing surpasses it. It is so wonderful. Like, nobody should remake this movie. And then he turned around and remade this movie and then said it was incredibly flawed, and gave examples of it being flawed, like Michael Myers finding like the mechanic suit. And I'm just like, okay, either you like the movie or you don't like the movie. And it's like, what are you saying? It's like, I've heard this with other people say this when they, with stuff too. And it's just like, then don't remake it. If you think it's so great, don't remake it. If you think it's flawed, I don't know, remake it, but do it better. And I don't think that he did it better.
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't do it better. But I thought he did a decent job with it. And I enjoy it. I don't mind. I could pop it in and watch the whole thing right now just fine. But it is interesting that Rob Zombie, let me address Mr. Bones, and I do want to say something else about that. I can take or leave 3 from Hell, but he didn't even want to make it. The characters were dead, but the fans kept asking for it. No, definitely 3 from Hell was definitely fanfare. And also I think it completed the trilogy. So he was able to just put that trilogy to bed and move on. But 3 from Hell definitely, it really missed the mark. I'm definitely disappointed in it. And hey, maybe, I don't know. It maybe if he had more, if Sid Haig's health wasn't so poor, maybe the script could have been a little different and pulled us in a little more. But it was, Sid Haig was just barely in it because his health was failing at the time.
Yeah, it's so I think it's the worst thing that he's ever written, because you have, so I'll mention a scene. So Sherry Moon Zombie, what's her name in the movie? Baby. Baby.
Baby Firefly.
Okay, so she's in the prison. She has a fan base in the prison and outside the prison. Like, she's world known.
Yeah.
And so they walk her out of the prison in a prison guard outfit without shoes on. Nobody recognizes this at all, because he doesn't shoot her leaving the prison, which means he being Rob Zombie, knew that there was no way of her getting out of the prison without being seen. So the guards know who she is. The prisoners know who she is. And then when she walks out, and if they don't recognize her, she's not wearing any shoes. So why wouldn't somebody say you're not wearing shoes? So why wouldn't she steal the shoes? It's stuff like this that I look for, that I think is just bad, lazy writing, that she would have, because he didn't shoot that part, he knew it was bad. And so I can't, I own the trilogy on Blu-ray, and that's fine. I mean, I can watch it, but it's very, very flawed, I think.
No, it really is. And here I've got the trilogy right here. That scene that you speak of, it is the idea that how she got out of jail and everything is absurd. But to me, her without shoes, she is, in the first two films, batshit crazy. So the idea of her having or not having shoes, I'm kind of okay with. But just it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I can't debate you on any of that at all, because it was, the film, it just so many flaws. I remember watching it going like, man, this is not nearly on the level of the first two.
No.
So, it's frustrating.
Yeah, and to answer Sean 420, what happened to Dr. Satan? Dr. Satan was cut out of Devil's Rejects. Dr. Satan is actually in the deleted scenes.
Yeah.
So, but Rob Zombie wanted to keep Devil's Rejects more grounded, and so he cut out anything that would be more that would kind of take it into a different direction.
Yeah. Nocturno, what's up, Nocturno? Nocturno's a homie and a legend here. But I think we all agree. That how most people are going to say Devil's Rejects, then House, and in that trilogy, and then obviously Three from Hell doesn't even belong. But and I was so excited for it too. I really wanted to see it because, just to finish up that trilogy.
I think I just went, why they all tied in the second movie perfectly to a great song. It's the best use of Freebird ever.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wet Movie One, for watching TikToks with me in them. So I.
Oh yes. So he sent me this link last night, and it's a TikTok with you, and you're guessing like which soda it is or something. You're on a bus. Yeah. And then immediately behind you is Candace Fauché, the girl right behind you, who is a friend, and actually Warren Durso had opened for Tommy Davidson a while back. And so Matt, myself, Candace, one of Candace's friends, and Warren, and I can't remember who else was all back there, but we were all backstage hanging out in the green room with Tommy Davidson for a while, which was phenomenal. It was absolute blast. But she was there. I got to meet her that night, and it's very funny because her drink of choice is Steel Reserve 211. So we went to dinner, and I thought she was kidding, and I thought maybe she knew who Fluffy was because that was his drink, was Steel Reserve 211. But no, really, we went to dinner, and she asked them to hunt down a Steel Reserve for her at the restaurant. We all ate. Tommy didn't eat with us, but Warren and everybody else ate with us. And she had them bring a Steel Reserve. But that was a very a fun little TikTok that I'd love to hear more about from you on. We got to talk about. Maybe we get to that before, but I don't want to get too far off topic here before we run out of time with you, because we do have to talk about a couple movies that you're in.
Let me answer Wet Movie One's question here. When will we get another Meat Hook Massacre movie? Not from me, you won't. No way.
Yeah.
No. For those who don't know, I wrote, produced, and directed Meat Hook Massacre 4, which is considered to be the best out of the entire series, and there's like 10 of them. But yet the creator does not acknowledge that. He calls it the black sheep of the family. I don't know if you want me to mention his name.
I don't care.
Oh, okay. So Dustin Ferguson, and who I had a big falling out with, and he still owes me money for that. And he's making money off of his streaming channel with it. I have the original agreement still. And that was my Apocalypse Now. So I actually I always get the letters wrong. What is it that when like a soldier comes back from war, what do they suffer?
PTSD.
Thank you. I had that from this film, to where when I was starting to edit it, I would practically throw up because I had such a bad experience on it. And so you won't get one from me unless I just want to piss off Dustin and use the two characters that I will not allow him to use in their own movie.
And something kind of exciting about that, or interesting, when we were at Tom Devlin's Monster Museum hanging out with Tom, we had started talking about you, And so I don't know if your ears were burning that day or not, but he was saying you need to ditch the shorts and do more features because he thinks that by far your Meat Hook Massacre was your best work to date. So,
well,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you,
Yeah. Thank Tom. Yeah.
Yeah. He really likes it because he got a box set from David Sterling, and they are available on Blu-ray, or you can get them on DVD through Wild Eye Releasing. And I was not allowed to participate in any audio commentary, behind the scenes, anything like that. I believe the exact words from Dustin are, John Ward will not have any part in this at all. And even though I was willing to do it for free and everything, but Tom says it's the best of the series, and I tend to think so too. But it's
no, the rest of them are just flat out turds. They are.
Pretty
they
much,
are. You did Dustin a big service there, a big favor. Let me get caught up on a couple other comments here, and then we're going to dive into some of the films that we're really here to talk about tonight. But I saw this, and I love this comment from Jennifer here. I'm trying to find it. I lost it. There you go. Give me a B. Give me an A. Baby Firefly. What's that spell? Yeah, I don't know if you remember that scene. I definitely get the reference, Jennifer. I love it. Love it. When she's saying, give me a A, give me a B, give me an A, give me a B, give me a Y. What's that spell? One of the
does it spell? B-A-B-A-B-Y.
It spells Dustin. It spells Dustin.
Well, according to Wet Movie 1 here, Dustin is the coolest guy I've ever met.
He may be being a little facetious right now. MB Socks, what's up? What's up? Yeah, Sean 420, gonna get wet. We need to get wet. Gail, I met Fred Gwynn back in 1988. Very cool.
Nice. He is so awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love Fred Gwynn.
The ice cream scene is hilarious
too.
Oh yeah. The ice cream scene.
My cousin Vinny too.
Fucking
the judge.
Oh right, no, these two Utes. What did you say? Two Utes. The two Utes. Oh, excuse me. Wicked Network, what's up? 3 from Hell was all right, but not necessary. Yep, agreed. It definitely wasn't necessary. Yep. And John, you have a great point with that. For me, if I love something, just keep giving me more of it until it sucks, and then we'll stop. But they could have done without the third one for sure. Jam and Music Man, what's up? Enjoyed the live stream vlog from Vegas on Wet Movie One's channel. Nice. There's 2 of them on my channel, so after we did the live stream on my channel where we got all drunk the first night. Then we did the live stream on Wet Movie One's channel. His phone battery was dying, so we switched over to mine. That live stream was blocked because of that Steve Aoki joke, the guy who bounces in front of his laptop. He's a DJ, and so people go to pay money to see this guy with a laptop and bouncing and playing music. But Steve Aoki's songs that he's sampled from other people, which is hysterical. His music is sampled from other people, but then it got my video blocked. But I have gone and trimmed out those segments where his music was playing. So that live stream is available if anybody wants to go back and see. It was the continuation of Wet Movie One's live from that second night when we were out there. So. But anyways, everybody, we do have to talk about a couple films, some of the things that I want to talk about. If you watched my video from being in Vegas that came out just a couple days ago, I called it Beer and Loathing in Las Vegas. Ha ha ha. Instead of Fear and Loathing. Okay. We all paid a visit to Tom Devlin and his Monster Museum to talk about, there's going to be something fun coming up with Teddy Told Me To in the future. And Wet Movie One and I recorded videos that we can't release yet. We'll be releasing down the road. So you'll want to look out for those things that are going on with Teddy Told Me To and Tom Devlin and his Monster Museum. But while I was there, I picked up this right here, Teddy Told Me To, and got Tom to sign it.
You got
you have different artwork. Oh, I am jealous.
So
that artwork.
I think you have the official release. This is the 2022 tour special edition. So this is the one that he was selling
Oh,
at conventions. And
okay.
it has all the dates. This is when he was doing it through in
Oh,
his
how fun is that? Yeah, okay.
yeah. And I had Michael Shields, who plays Teddy, sign it. He was the only guy who I wanted to have sign it. Because I got a full poster, an 11 by 17 poster, cast and crew and
Okay.
all that. So I
Yeah.
just wanted Michael to sign this because I just wanted it to be
Okay.
special for Michael because he did such a great job as Teddy.
Yeah,
And
he did.
in this, it's got the DVD and the Blu-ray, and it's got like
Oh,
a little card.
yeah. Lucky you. I got the Blu-ray, and I got like a little a little card thing about a coupon for the museum. But I'm happy with this. I'm okay. I'm glad every movie I get from Tom, I get him to sign. So this is another one here. So I'm glad to have this on the show. This was fun. I really enjoyed this, and I didn't know that it was out. I knew he'd made it, but Fluffy had mentioned to me that it was on Tubi, and so that's where I watched it. And after watching it, I was like, oh, I definitely need to get a copy of that. So if everybody doesn't know, John Ward is in this movie, walking through the haunted house there. So tell us about your experience on set with this. How did you get involved with this? What fun little juicy nuggets of storytelling do you have for us about Teddy Told Me To?
So I originally kind of met Tom when you and I and Miranda Dudley did Clown Motel Massacre. And then Miranda pretty much became my effects artist. And through Miranda, I met Tom. And Tom was the go-to person on, oh crap, we can't figure out how to do an effect. Let's call Tom. And through that, she brought the three of us, you, her, and I, to his monster museum. And that's when we met him. And I've just been friends with him since. And I have done small roles in people's movies, and I posted on Facebook because I'm an acting whore. So pretty much if you say, hey, do you want to be in my movie? Most likely I'll do it. So I've been in, I think, 4 or 5 of Tom's movies now. And with Teddy I got a message saying, hey, do you want to be in this film? And I'm like, sure. And then Tom told me it was because the actor who was originally supposed to be in it, who he won't name, it's actually a named actor, but he won't tell me who it is, said, no, the role is way too small. And so I don't want to do it. So Tom's like, message John, go message John. He'll do anything. And of course I said yes. And I only live about a half an hour away from the museum out in Boulder City. And so he wanted it to kind of be like the character that was from like Mighty Morphing Power Rangers, like kind of like the big guy who had like the leather jacket and the hat. And he had like the little guy that was always with him. And he goes, that's what I want you to be. And my name in the film is Dick Patron because I'm a patron who's a dick. And so we shot a couple nights. I think I shot maybe a total of 3 or 4 nights because they were spaced out over time. And
okay.
My let's just say my character will not be back in the sequel. So
yeah. No spoilers here, no spoilers, but take that for what you will. No, Teddy Told Me To. It's fun. If you guys haven't, it's on Tubi. You can watch it on Tubi, or you can go to Plan 10 Pictures, buy it online. Their links are down below. And as well, John's, get my finger on the right way. John's links as well are down below. But you can purchase a copy of Teddy Told Me To online, or you can go to the Monster Museum, which is what I recommend. And when you walk in the door at the Monster Museum, if Tom is not there, all you need to do is tell, it's probably going to be Waleed at the desk there. And you say, hey, Waleed, I would love to get a copy of this and get Tom Devlin to sign it. Is he around? And Waleed can probably wrangle up Tom to get him over here to sign that for you. So that's what I recommend. or find them at a convention or something. But if you can't do that right now, you can watch it for free on Tubi, and it is definitely worth the watch. And maybe even watch it on Tubi and then get yourself a copy.
Yeah, it's a slasher film that takes place in a haunt, and it's a guy who's kind of dressed up like a teddy bear with the overalls and everything, and he's killing the patrons. He's killing the people who work there. And Teddy is very cool looking, and of course the effects are by Tom Devlin and his and his guys. So it's 1313 effects, and yes, Bulk from Power Rangers. Yeah, exactly. And Tom's a great guy. I love working with him. He was at the Immortal Wars screening that we had, the Case Paradise, and I was really happy when I heard that he said that I'll put John in all my movies. So I'm very. Oh, and there's this too. So there's this thing that you can buy there.
Oh yes, yes, I saw those. Very cool.
Yeah, these are the Teddy told me to figures. So they're all hand painted. So everyone is different.
Wow. Okay, and I did not know that. Very cool.
Yeah, it's white, and then they paint each one, and he has this cool little. I think he comes with different weapons. Like this is the yo-yo that he uses, and it bounces back and forth.
Okay.
And then we got the back here. So there's Teddy right there. I think he looks really cool.
Yeah.
So,
and Tom said the other there's another few other figures they're still working on developing right now. So, but they'll be coming at some point in the future.
Yeah. Please support Tom, and he's out in Boulder City, and it's Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. So whenever you're out here or whatever, please go see it. He is constantly changing it. I mean, it is never the same. If you go back within a year, it's totally different. I mean, it's never boring, and he's a great guy, and I really like Tom.
Yeah, no, he really is. And I'm going to have Tom on here soon, joining us on a Monday night, one of these nights. He's going to come on and talk about things. So, very, very cool. And definitely, got to support him. He's a fantastic effects artist, a great filmmaker, and just a great person in general. And it was fun on the set of another film that you and I were both involved in different aspects. But, well, I guess acting pretty much, right? But is the After Dark, which is not out yet, but Tom had said that they have completed it. It's been submitted, hoping for a July, I think he said 7th release. So we're looking forward to that. But got to meet Tom's dad on set there, and definitely know where, I guess I should just say Tom is a chip off the old block, where his dad was Tom's a great guy too.
Awesome. Yeah. I always hang out with him on set, so he's really fun.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing is that everybody there, like Tom, what he referred to as his family, like everybody he involves in his films and stuff, all great people. And so it was such a fun shoot. Glad that I got to tag along with Phat Samurai Guy and go out there and be a part of that. And speaking of that Phat Samurai Guy, he was in this. Not quite as prevalent as you were, but another one of Tom's movies, Las Vegas Frankenstein.
Yes.
Which I just watched yesterday morning. And now, is your artwork the same as mine on that one?
I got okay.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty much the same.
Let's see. Yep. But this movie, the colors and just everything kind of pops at you. It's very fun visual movie, and then the Frankenstein monster is pretty fun too. So the payoff at the end of the movie with what happens with Frankenstein is a blast. But Las Vegas Frankenstein. That Phat Samurai Guy and Lady Fat Blood, you will see them in an audience where you have a hypnotist. Don't call him a magician. He's not a magician. He's a hypnotist. But you'll get the reference if you watch the movie. This had a Fat Samurai Guy, Lady Fat Blood in the audience there. And you had a little bigger role in this film than that. So why don't you tell us about Las Vegas Frankenstein? Tell a little about the movie and your involvement with this one.
Well, this one also has. This is where I met Daniel Roebuck, was on this film, and also Steve Hansen plays the Frankenstein monster, John Crius. I got to meet him and hang out with him. So it was a really great set to be on with these, with these people. There's other people in this movie, too, like it was
Rose
once again,
and CJ Graham. Were they?
Yeah,
no, they were. Felissa Rose.
Oh no,
they were in Teddy.
They were in Teddy. Yeah, Teddy.
You're right. Okay, my bad. I'm speaking out of line here. I'll shut up.
Well, it's because there's so many good people that it's Peter Stickles is in this.
Well, and remember, Peter Stickles was at a movie which we won't talk about that was filmed at my house here. Yes. And I got him to sign one of my movies here. I don't remember. But he's a good guy. I like Peter a lot too. And this is another one of those cases of let's call John. And my scene, Tom just let it go on and on and on. So what you're seeing in the film is only half of what was shot. And so I asked, would you guys release like a Blu-ray with special features? Can you please release the whole thing? I basically kind of play, I call myself the general, but I'm supposed to be like the colonel, the guy with Elvis. And I have a group of Elvis impersonators. Yes.
And around me, it really serves no purpose in the movie, to be honest. Like it does, like if you remove the scene, it would still make sense. But it's just a fun scene. And because Tom let us go on and on and on for like 15 minutes, and I had all these different Elvises around me, it got pretty racist and pretty bad. But I did ask the guys if it was okay if I kind of did these things. Like we did have an Asian Elvis who I kept calling Yellow Elvis. But he was perfectly fine with it. So I don't know if other people watching us doing this knew that it was okay with these guys if I kind of bashed on them. But it was a very fun scene to do, because Tom said, just make sure you get out these lines. I just want to make sure, and then do whatever you want. And then the Elvis guys could do, the impersonators could do the same thing. There is a death scene that's also with Peter Stickles and myself that Tom didn't put into the film. He just said that it didn't work, kind of slowed it down and stuff. So so that maybe will be part of special features too. I don't know, but his sets are always fun, and it's Daniel and I had a whole finger thing kind of going at one another at one point. We were just standing there doing this back and forth. He'd point at me, then I point at him, then, so it was really great working with him. And then at the premiere, he remembered my name, which was nice. And Joe
very cool.
Yeah. Joe Luan's like, he remembered your name. And I'm like, yes, he did. And I went over and took a picture with him. So, and he's really nice. So it was fun. It was really nice, and it's all Tom's people. So, it's you never have to worry about anything.
That's cool. And NG, it is, we're talking about Las Vegas Frankenstein, and which I don't know, is this out on Tubi yet? Do you know?
I don't, because I've seen him advertising Teddy Told Me To a lot being out on Tubi.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him talk about this one yet.
Yeah, he mentioned I'm checking right now to see if it's out there. He mentioned some other movies that were on Tubi that he was involved with, but I don't remember him mentioning this one. And I'm not seeing it on Tubi. So I don't think it's out there yet on Tubi. So I think if anybody wants to get a copy of this and see Daniel Roebuck and John Ward and Peter Stickles, Eileen Dietz, Noah Hathaway. Yes. And Reggie knows what's up. Yeah. Noah Hathaway, who we all know from the Never Ending Story. Let's see. And who else? Vincent Cusimano. And so where do I know that name from aside from this? Do you know what else he's done? And he plays the lead. He's like the, what's his name? Victor, the magician, right?
Victor Van Peltz.
Here we go.
Vincent
Cusimano. So he's also been in Blade the Iron Cross, Into Devil's Reach, Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. He was in Teddy Told Me To? I didn't realize. I didn't catch that. So several films, 60 Seconds to Die. So looks like mostly lower budget independent films. But boy, he's got quite a resume. So he's been around. His name is just familiar to me. I felt like I'd seen it before somewhere.
Yes, some of these people are from, Full Moon movies, Charles Band stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where I would imagine Tom first met them, was from working on those movies.
Yeah, very likely. Very likely, yes.
The one that I'm really interested in that Tom is bringing out yet, and I think that he mentioned it to you, was the John Wayne Gacy movie. Gacy, is the title of it, where I play. It was so nice of Tom is that he messaged me and said, you've had these small roles in my other films. I want to give you a bigger role. And so I play the psychiatrist to John Wayne Gacy in this film that he's been making for like 10 or 15 years. With John Prine. So
that's, you probably should be playing John Wayne Gacy. And if he needs some convincing, I have to get them a copy, but if he needs some convincing, in which I can't forward, so we'll just have to suffer through 2 minutes and 1 second of this real quick.
We heard this place was haunted. Is there any truth to that?
You kids interested in ghosts?
Yeah, we're actually the Paranormal Searcher Squad.
Is that so? Well, do I have a story for you? You see, this place used to be owned by a man named William McCroy. This William had two loves in this world: clowns and killing.
Anyways, no creepier clown, no creepier clown that I've ever seen. It was so brilliant, the way it worked out with the straight edge razor. And I think a lot of you and I were both very uncomfortable, unsure of Tom's direction and what he wanted and expected.
Yeah.
And so it made it a little more awkward, but that really plays well in that scene. But when you're hovering over the girl and you kind of got the quivering lip and stuff at times, and it is just cringy as all hell, and it really, really works. So
yeah, it's interesting because that was the so if people don't know, so I'm the clown in that, the killer clown, and which is why Philip said I should be John Wayne Gacy. It is one day I got a call from David Sterling saying, "Hey, do you want to go work as crew up at the Clown Motel? Because I'm here in Vegas, and that's in Tonopah." And wait, Tonopah, did I get that right?
Yeah, I was in Tonopah.
Yeah, Tonopah.
Jennifer says you're creepy AF.
Thank you, Jennifer.
That's the intent right there. That's the intent. Yes, that was John.
So,
yes.
Yeah, nobody wanted to hang out with me while we were filming when I was in that makeup. That's for sure. and So I'm like, okay, fine. I can go do crew. And it was, it was free. And I just got to know David, but I didn't know Philip. I didn't know Tom. I didn't know any of these people. And I'm working at a storage facility, and I get a phone call from Tom, who goes, hey, I'm Tom. I'm the director of the film. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. And he goes, you're now the clown. And I'm like, what? And he goes, you're now the clown. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm crew. And he goes, no, you're the only one doing like one job. You're now the clown. We're all doing like 5 jobs, and now you're the clown. And it's like, oh, okay. And that suit was very tight, which is why I don't think Tom ever shoots me from the back, because it's kind of strapped on, and because I definitely did not fit that clown outfit. But it was definitely it was my first lead acting job, and it was quite an experience. What was it? 4 days up there? 5?
We were 5 full days. 5 full days up there. Yeah. It was pretty nuts. Gail, thanks for hanging out, homeboy. Thank you again for the movies, Night of the Demons and Silver Bullet. I will be checking those out very soon, Gail. Have yourself a good night.
Thank you, Gail.
And we'll see you soon, Gail. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
No. That's, hey, it's your show. Interrupt away.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it did all work out. It is very funny. So how many people, how many close friends I have now, all because, and it's funny, about 10 years ago, 10 years and a month or so ago, Philip and I, Fluffy and I, were out in Las Vegas, and we walked into a Salvation Army, and because he had said that there was video games in there that you could buy used video games. So we went in, and he picked up this game, and he's telling me that people make videos where they're out hunting for video games. And so I said, well, we should totally do that. Why don't we do that? And then the rest is history. We formed this YouTube channel right here, and we've been going at it for 10 years now, off and on, and through ups and downs and everything. But because of that, I've met you, John Ward. I've met Wet Movie One, Cinestalker, Chauncey Phillips. I wouldn't know Tom Devlin. I wouldn't know Tom Newth. I wouldn't know anybody involved with Clown Motel. Would have never happened. Would have not known David Sterling or some of the other people, for better or worse. So many people that I would have never met, without that one day saying, why don't we make a YouTube channel? And here we all are so many years later. And to answer Sean 420, to answer your question, no, that movie has not been released yet. Although I do have, I don't want to say too much, but I'm working on something, and I'm working on getting it out there. The movie's ready to go. And in fact, it's funny, that trailer that I have here, I haven't cut a new trailer. So that trailer here doesn't have the Dark Parks Films logo on it, which the beginning of the movie does now. And it doesn't have the new fonts, the new, there's so many changes. They really don't force that trailer to be all. I want to cut a new trailer, have something. But no, the film is. I'm getting to be as happy with it as possible, and and that's just it's. There's only so much you can do. And my grandfather once said he built a house, and he said, you at some point you have to decide that you're done, because theoretically you could never be done. You could continue adding on. You could, be Mrs. Winchester. You could continue adding on, or you could continue, oh, I want to repaint this, or I want to add a ceiling fan here, or this or that, or whatever. So at some point you have to say, I'm done. And we're done. The film is done. But we're going to probably, well, that's it. I'm not going to say anything else as far as distribution. but it's in the process. The wheels are a spinning here now. So that it should be fun and out very soon. But I did want to show one other fun little tidbit from that film here before we move on. And I should have, where did it go? It's funny because this is also an Easter egg in Sacred Heartland short film that will be released in an anthology with some stuff that John's putting together there. But well, this isn't the one picture where you're all scary in the background, but let's see here. There you go. How about them apples? Look at that.
There we go.
This is a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. John slashed me up, cut my face all open there, and spilled the blood of Sheriff Martin Darrow all over my shirt and my coat. But there we are on the set of Clown Motel Massacre. And that may or may not be well, no, it wouldn't be a shotgun. It would be a hole in the side of your head from a 38 revolver. Yeah, a 38 special right there. So anyways, you know what? It was challenging when we were on set. Tensions grew high at points. Miranda worked her ass off and will never get the credit that she truly deserves for all her work on that film, because she was not just our special, our physical effects, but she was just hair and makeup and everything that we needed. If we needed something fixed, we ran to Miranda. So she was a godsend and a lifesaver for us there. But it had its hiccups. I got threatened with a lawsuit by a guy who's made another Clown Motel movie, and we've gotten past all that stuff, and we should be releasing soon here. So you healed up nicely. Well, thank you. Yeah, you can't even see the scar really, but that wasn't me.
But
that
it's makeup.
That was Sheriff Martin Darrow. So, or as John referred to me frequently, Darrow.
Because I just couldn't say the name right. And to answer Jennifer there, I do act, but I have not been on television or anything. I just do small independent films. I like doing little roles, and so that's what I mostly do. I am dyslexic, and my memory is not great, so I take small roles that I can just do basic stuff on. And the nice thing is, about working on Clown Motel Massacre is that, with knowing Philip was in my film, Aximus 2 Bloodslay, and I'm hoping to have him be the first kill, the pre-credit kill in part 3.
That's rude.
Yeah, that is rude. It is rude. Well, that's what you get for interrupting the interviewer, in part 2. So you get taken out. Yeah. So it's you do get to meet a lot of people and stuff, and I know who Philip is referring to when he talks about being sued and stuff. So
yeah, there's no need to go down that path or anything. So I'm choosing not to here. But my bad. I was meaning to get rid of that. But there are hurdles to every there and we dealt with a lot of them. But anyways, look at this fun stuff here from there we go. There's John with Matt on Aximus 2 right there.
Aximus 2, yeah, you see that right there.
And there's Mark holding down the boom there, and Drew Marvick here.
Marvick as the Killer Santa, yeah.
Yep. There he is, all bloodied up. And speaking of Drew Martin, did you see I just bought another movie with Drew and as a Killer Santa? So I got some good behind the scenes here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little concerned with that film, but he says that it shouldn't affect part 3 because he's in part 3. So I just need to get off my lazy butt. And there's Tommy Vegas right there.
Oh yeah, look at them. They're bruised up and whatnot, huh?
So the funny thing with this picture is Ashley took a picture of her. She's the one in white there, of with that bruise on her face, and she put it on Facebook. And she actually had men saying, "Tell me who beat you. We're going to go get them." And she's like, "No, calm down. I just got off a movie set," but guys were defending her. So,
artwork was the makeup was legit. Miranda did a phenomenal.
Yeah, this is Miranda Dudley.
Yeah.
So where are there any of you? I know we took some of you.
Oh,
there you are.
Yeah. No, I was, I think, behind the camera for the most part in those shots there. But yeah, myself and the beautiful Warren Durso and Rose. But yeah, that was a fun day, a fun shoot right there. Had a great time. And
Philip plays the mayor from Jaws in this one, where he just he makes up excuses that even though a year ago in part 1 there were all these murders, and hey, still come on down and rent with us, and it's a beautiful day out, and just ignoring the fact that people were murdered.
Yeah, no, and I wish because of doing multiple roles, behind the scenes there, I got too overwhelmed with other things that I didn't spend that much time reading my lines, and so I didn't nail them exactly as you wanted, but I think it's passable. I think it worked out fairly well.
Oh no, it works fine. It was longer in the script, but it's did it need to be longer in the script? That it worked out perfectly fine. So
yeah,
yeah.
No, and you put together a great cast. Everybody was really phenomenal there.
Thank you.
Yeah, well,
those were some long cold nights. There's Tommy dying.
Oh, a little spoiler there. Oh, and there's Miranda.
There's Miranda right there. Yeah.
Let's see here. So
Dylan.
Yep.
There's Ben.
There we are. Yeah. And let's see. Could you see the little mini space heater that everybody was trying to hover around? and that's all she wrote. That's all I've got in that file right there that I have access to right now. But anyways, no, talking about it, I was like, oh, you know what? I know I have some shots and stuff from Axmas.
Yeah, and you sent me a ton of footage that I could use on the on the DVD. I did a whole making of, like a 70-minute making of the film because of your footage. So thank you. Nice.
I'm glad you could use it. That's cool.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah. So before we lose John here, just again, Teddy told me to Las Vegas Frankenstein. John is in both of these. And now you're also going to be in the After Dark. Are you in any other films with Tom Devlin, or is that it at this point? The 3 of these.
I wasn't in Nameless. I'm looking at the back here of this. Trek was an older movie. Legend of Sasquatch was older. There's the Gacy movie. After Dark, I play out. I'm a homeless person because they know I'll do anything. So so even if I don't have lines or whatever it is, if they need to kind of fill in a scene, I'm more than willing to drive out there to do it. So it's just dedication to somebody that you like.
Correct. Yeah, a good friend, a good guy, and it's fun to be in movies. And that's one thing that I tell people all the time. And I told Tom, I just love being on set. So if there's ever an opportunity where Tom needs somebody, I told him too this past weekend, if he needs a biker, I do have a Harley, and so I'd be more than happy to ride out and be a part of anything. But no, go ahead. You had a very profound moment right there.
I'm in, but I have to look it up. I forget the name of it. The house on
guys, it is just about time for me to shit on Imaginary. Yes. John, have you seen the movie Imaginary yet?
No, but I have heard nothing but bad things, and if it's anything like Night Swim, I would really like to pass on. Slaughterhouse on the Hill. That's one that I'm also in. So with Tom, he kind of shot that in secrecy type of thing.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah.
Well,
But no,
and so
I've not seen
all
it.
of-
I've just heard bad stuff about Imaginary.
Okay, all of Tom's films available on Plan 10 Pictures or at the Clown Motel, at the Monster Museum, which Tom said it is just when you're on the Las Vegas Strip, it's not even 20 minutes out there, so it's not that far. So if you're in Vegas, you got to get out there. It is well worth, even if you don't have a car, if you're taking an Uber out there or something, it won't be bad.
Yeah, they used to
Definitely
have
something
the
you gotta do.
freeway. It was like 45 minutes originally, for maybe to an hour, and then they redid the whole freeway. And now it's really only like 20 minutes, 30 with traffic at most. And if you're out there, there's a ton of restaurants and fast food places that you can just make a whole day of it.
When we were at your place, when I dropped off that card with you, I think Wet Movie One was asking how long it was going to take to get out there. And I said, well, because I thought from right there by your place, I go, well, I'll probably be there in an hour. We were in the Monster Museum in 35 minutes from your place. And I mean, that was like getting and dealing with the traffic. I'm not going to say the name of the major road that you live near, but there's always construction and stuff. I mean, there's construction on every single road in Vegas, but anyways, with all that being said, all that traffic and driving all the way out there, 35 minutes later, we were in the Monster Museum. So it didn't take long at all. And that's, from the Vegas Strip, you could be there in about 20 minutes. So got to go out there and check it out if you haven't yet.
Yeah.
And so, I'll just kind of, I don't want to spoil too much for anybody that does want to go see Imaginary. But it's a film essentially about a little girl who her mom is crazy and has been locked up, and her dad is hooking up with another girl. And so the other girl wants to be a good stepmom. And so she's really trying hard and to the two daughters. And so the film is really about the younger of the two daughters and her interaction with this bear. And then you find out as the film goes on, obviously the bear is an instrument used by a demon, a higher powered being of some sorts. I don't want to give too much on that if you're interested in seeing it. But this bear can take different shapes or forms and things. And there are moments in this where I'm like, oh shit, this is getting good. And then right when you think something really horror movie-ish is going to happen, something really badass, you're like, yeah. And then it goes,
That's what I've heard. The first act is good. The second and third act just goes straight down the toilet. The mom is like way too nice. Like nobody would act like the mom. And then the daughter is supposed to be like a total bitch because she's at that age.
Well, the older daughter is just a typical bitch, teenage daughter. There are some very, standard character traits with a lot of the characters in this film. But all in all, the only thing I'm going to give this is not, it doesn't, I'm not going to spoil how the movie ends or how anything works out or anything, but I'm going to give away a pretty significant spoiler. If you don't want to hear it, you got about 5 seconds to go, la, 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 or mute your audio here for a second. My biggest problem with this movie is that I went into the theaters to see it, I don't know, sometime around like 7 or 8 o'clock last night. I am still waiting for the first kill. Not one kill in this entire movie.
What?
Not one. Not a one. Not a one.
Even the swimming pool killed people.
Yeah, you can unplug your ears now, everybody. You can unplug your ears now. No, I'm still waiting for that to happen. So, very frustrating.
Never mind.
Yeah.
No.
No.
No. Blumhouse has been going down the hill for the last couple of years. So,
so it could have, I mean, aesthetically, the visuals were amazing. The effects were great. The bear, the monsters, the things, it's imaginary. It's about this girl's imagination and how that comes to reality. And there's so many different layers that I'm like, yes. And then right when they can hit it out of the park, they let them off the hook. So yeah, very, very frustrating in that aspect. Now, I walked out of the theater going, I wish they would have killed. Okay, I won't finish that sentence, but I wish they would have done more. I'll just say I walked out of the theater going, I wish they would have done more. But now, while I watched it with my daughter, she turns 21 this coming weekend. And so it's not like I'm worried about her watching a horror movie. She is my horror movie watching buddy out of all my children. And, we've been to many movies. We've watched many movies together. But for her and her age, I was like, okay, if you were if you're a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, like a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, you might have been down with this.
I hated that movie. I hated it.
Five Nights at Freddy's, to me, I walked out of the theater going like, it was okay. It was way better than Willy's Wonderland. I hated Willy's Wonderland. But in those two films, those two films, I mean, obviously Nicolas Cage. Can draw many, many similarities. The type of establishment they're in with the things coming to life and stuff. But Five Nights at Freddy's, if you like that, you might like Imaginary. But so to me, oh gosh, well, I'm drawing a blank. There was another, I'm drawing a blank. There's another movie.
Because there's a Banana Splits is similar to that, is with the mechanics.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And
which I think is the best one out of them all. And I was even in one.
A Banana Splits?
No, I was in one of these Five Nights at Freddy's movies, and Night of the Zomghouls by Will Colossal. I act in it, and then I was one of the directors on it and did a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff. But Mike Ferguson kills me at the beginning, and it's another one of those. I would rather watch that than Five Nights at Freddy's, or probably watch Imaginary. So I hated Five Nights at Freddy's. I thought it was the worst film of last year. So horribly written, so stupid. 90% of that movie is a guy sleeping.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks. Thanks. So awful.
Yeah. I was trying to think.
I even said in my review, if you legitimately like Five Nights at Freddy's, because this was aimed at people on Facebook, stop making movies. You should never write another movie again. You should stop making movies, because the film is so horrible that you obviously have no idea what a good movie is.
No, well, but here's the thing with Five Nights at Freddy's. That movie, in my opinion, was targeted at 13-year-olds. It wasn't targeted for a sophisticated audience that wanted a solid story. It was targeted at 13-year-olds. And when they saw whoever the YouTuber was in there, they all lost their shit. I was in the theater and I was like, oh my God, I've never been in a theater with a rowdier bunch of adolescents in my life. And they had fun with that movie. My daughters were kind of like, okay, it was okay, but I don't need to see it again. But
nothing happens. How could teenagers be excited? I don't know how the movie made as much money as it did. It is literally a guy sleeping at a monitor for 90% of the movie.
Well, you and I being significantly older than the average 13, 14-year-old audience member that I was surrounded by, I think we just look at movies differently. And nowadays, especially kids, in this TikTok generation, they look at things differently. And so I think the sad thing about that is for folks like us, as movies are targeted more and more and more toward this younger generation, we are going to get more and more frustrated with the shit that comes out. Oh, look. It is the Tuaka God himself in the channel here. How are you doing, Miss Thang, Miss Tuaka God, current resident of the great state of Texas? The Tuaka God is Justin. You know Justin, right? As in friends with Matt. Have you met Justin? Have you met John? I can't remember if you two have met. Justin.
I'm awful on names.
Okay, well, Justin is very, very good friends with Matt and I. And Justin is like there's 3 wheels, 3 cogs on our wild game film. Justin, Matt, and myself. And so Justin just recently moved from Los Angeles area to the great state of Texas. I have to clap when I say Texas. Yeah, dang it.
Getting
Texas.
out of California.
Yes. But anyways, no, it's been a while. And I was actually Justin. I was supposed to go to Creep I.E con with Justin. He flew out, was hanging out in Vegas with his brother who lives out there. And then he was going to drive out here. But I came down with the Rona and I was not able to go to Creep I.E. I was very disappointed. But we'll hopefully the stars at night are big and bright. Yes, they are. So I've heard everything in Texas is bigger. Now have you found yourself larger, or maybe certain parts of your anatomy have gained some girth since you've moved to Texas? Hopefully not your belly. But anyways, we should be seeing Justin in Vegas very, very soon, hopefully around Cinco de Mayo, lettuce, tomato. We should be seeing Justin out there. So hopefully having some fun with Justin soon. So,
well,
but maybe
that's sad that he moved from California. I don't know if you know this, but I used to go to school with your governor. He was a year ahead of me. We went to the same high school. You
had mentioned that before. Yes.
Yeah. And I used to party with him. So yeah.
Bigger belly. Well, that's a shame. You know what? But I'm right there with you. The holidays have done me no favors. I was losing some weight and I've put it all back on and then some. Governor Abbott. Oh, yeah. We're talking about Nevada now, huh? Is that the governor in Nevada? Is Abbott?
I guess he's the. Can we say the R word? Is the R word appropriate on here?
Oh yeah, no. What he was saying, his reference to the governor there, I kind of dodged that bullet. I mean, you can say it all you want. I chose to just kind of put it up there and let the text speak for itself. But hey, Newsom is right there with him. They both probably rode that little bus. So, although Newsom is pretty savvy when it comes to getting into office, I guess. So he can't be that dumb. But
oh yeah, that's an entirely different video where you and I talk about politics for 5 hours.
Yeah, so. No, well, and that's where I avoid it. Monday nights. This is the horror movie Monday live stream. When I do my Wake the Dead live streams, which are typically a lot later in the evening, all topics on the table, and so I just recommend, that we. Viewer discretion is advised if you don't want to hear me talk politics. Although I do claim to be fair and balanced. But anyways, yeah. No, Newsom is Pelosi's nephew, and he's also the ex-husband of Donald Trump's daughter. He's the ex-husband of Donald Trump's current daughter-in-law. So, like, yeah, you figure it all out. We are all suckers, is what we are. But enough on politics. Enough on politics. So I have watched a couple other movies that I was going to talk about here, but I definitely, to wrap up my thoughts on Imaginary, I would not spend money. I would go and watch that streaming if you so choose to at some point in time. Sean, have a good night. Take care of yourself. Thanks for hanging out with us. To God, are you saying peace to Sean or peace to the Middle East or peace to us? But anyways, John, are we up against it? Are you
the Middle East being like Kansas?
Correct. Yes.
Ohio,
the Tornado Alley right there. Yes.
That's what I thought.
Are you up against it? Are we losing you now, or do you have a couple more minutes to talk about another film I'm going to be throwing out here?
What film is it?
Okay, well, Robert says didn't like Imaginary. Okay, Robert, I think most of us in agreement with you. I watched this in the last couple days. I forget when, but just in the last couple days, and I really enjoyed it. And that is The Invisible Man.
Oh, I have plenty to say about that one.
Your dinner shall be cold by the time you eat it, sir. I had been recommended this. It was on my list, my little list of movies that everybody says I should get. And I had been meaning to watch it. I couldn't find it streaming for free anywhere, but I wanted to pick up a copy. And I saw somebody on a video recently said to get a 4K version because the 4K transfer is worth it. The 4K would have cost me over $30. This cost me $6.99. So I settled for the Blu-ray. I really enjoyed this movie. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, so I will tell you, I am a simp when it comes to James Wan. I will like anything. I defend Aquaman 2, but I do not defend Amber Turd because I'm a Johnny Depp fan and supporter. But and so Lee Whannell, I think, is an awesome director and he's a great writer, except for The Invisible Man. I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought it was well directed, well acted, and it was, to me, one of these movies where he got himself painted in a corner and had a very hard time getting out of it, like the scene in the restaurant where the knife cuts her friend's throat and not one person in there saw the knife rise and get the throat. It's just those type of things really bothered me, that it reminded me of The Game with Michael Douglas, the Fincher movie, where if Michael Douglas had gone left instead of right, the movie would be over. So if one person had seen what was going on, the movie pretty much would have been over. Also, she never explains to anybody really what is going on. So I think out of all of James Whannell's films, because I loved Upgrade, I thought Upgrade was great, and they're making a TV series out of it, which is why I don't think we've seen him for a while. But he is one of the best Hollywood writers out there. I think this is his weakest written movie, but I think it's his highest grossing movie. This film made bank. Yeah. I mean, so maybe, I don't know. I'm in the minority on that one. So.
Okay. Well, so, and here's my thoughts on that. And now with the knife in the restaurant, I agree with you on that. It frustrated me. And my thought is, whenever this film was shot or whenever this film was supposed to have taken place, most assuredly they had some type of video cameras in their dining room. And so even if nobody saw it happen, they would have, the first thing detectives would have done is said, let us see your video footage. That is going to be huge in court. So that would have been an easy fix. And so that is, there are a lot of horror movies that could have completely been prevented if, like you say, if he would have gone left instead of right, or, whatever. So that was a little frustrating for me as I watched it, going like, okay, look at the cameras. Let's figure this out. Find proof. And then, yes, the idea that, she's telling them, oh, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. But not once does she say he's got a suit of invisibility that he's made, and you need to go, find him, figure out how to find him or whatever. The things leading up to that, her being alone in the house and discovering him, the sheet on the floor when she didn't know that he was still alive. She's questioning her sanity, and he steps on that sheet or that blanket on the floor and doesn't let it move. That, to me, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I'm digging this. The cell phone ringing up in the attic and her going up in the attic and dumping the paint on him, and the ladder. There were so many elements in the first and maybe halfway through the second act that I was like, this is good. I'm buying in. I'm into this. And I thought it was so good in all those aspects that I was able to get past the lack of her saying the comments. Yeah, Jennifer, I don't know where they're going. I think Billy the Kid and Tuaka God Baby are just having some fun. But when they get off the rails like that, that's when you see me kind of just ignore some of those comments. But there were so many things about this movie that I just loved, that I think I was able to get past some of its flaws. And I think also, now, if she had told everybody that it was a suit of invisibility that he had, they would have had to change the ending. And now I will say, I get frustrated with movies that are just full of jump scares, and Imaginary is jump scare central. That is really what they're trying to do, is jump scare the shit out of you. This movie, Invisible Man, by nature, it should, create some jump scares just because you don't know where this guy is.
No, but that's okay. So that's the great thing about this is I did like a lot of it. I like her throwing the paint on him. I like that he's like the abusive husband and all that type of stuff. And that, everybody thinks he's this great guy. If you notice, and I'm not sure if you notice this, she would be in the kitchen and it would be a wide shot and she would kind of hear something maybe, and she would leave and that camera would linger. It would sit there for like a good 10 seconds because he's in the kitchen. So it doesn't, when she leaves, it just doesn't cut to like the next scene. It stays there, and they did this like 3 or 4 times, and I loved that because that tells us he's standing in the kitchen. She's not going insane. She's not nuts. So Leigh Whannell, I just think is a really, really good director. I'm glad that this, like the movie Smile. I hated Smile. I thought it was so bad. Everybody loved it, but I'm happy it made money. I am so glad when a bad horror movie makes a ton of money, because then we're going to get more. And now, because of something like The Invisible Man, we're going to get more Leigh Whannell. We're going to get more horror films. And I think that's a good thing. So I heard that, and I mentioned earlier that this film made bank, that Elizabeth Banks was going to be directing The Invisible Woman. Which
now is that supposedly possibly a sequel to this? Which, I mean, if you've seen this movie, you could understand how that could be very easily plausible.
Maybe. I mean, it's that's all I heard, is that it was called The Invisible Woman. So I'm not sure if it has a direct connection or not. But I guess because Cocaine Bear made money, that she kind of failed upward from Charlie's Angels. And Cocaine Bear is another movie I hated. But
so disappointing. So disappointing.
It would have been a great short movie. But
I mean, it had so much potential. And I mean, just you tell me, okay, a movie about a bear who eats a bunch of cocaine, and you throw that cast out there, all I gotta say is Ray Liotta. And some of the things involved with this movie, I'm like, oh my God, this has to be great. And they found ways to fail with that movie. You know, I mean,
yeah, because it didn't know what it wanted to be. Was it a comedy? Was it a horror movie?
Correct.
Was it an action
Correct.
movie? Did it deal with family and mothers? Did it?
Yeah.
It was all over the place, and I really hated Charlie's Angels. But I like Elizabeth Banks,
Yeah.
so I like her when she was doing stuff like 40-Year-Old Virgin and all that, where she was kind of rude and crude, and I like that about her. But then she got all serious on us. And so, yes, Lights Out was a good movie. Lights Out was actually a very good movie.
Yeah. But with Cocaine Bear, the part of the problem too was, I mean, you're right. It didn't know what it wanted to be, but the pacing on that, you would have these long scenes. You're like, why in the hell are we still in this scene? You know, and then you have other times where it's just bang, 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 bang. Amazing. Like the ambulance scene was just phenomenal, you know, but
yeah,
you know, then there's like, you know, they're up on top of the gazebo thing or whatever, or they're, you know, in the ranger station. It's like, we got the point. The audience understands. We got the information we needed as an audience. Move the fuck on. And we didn't. We held on those scenes for way too long. And it was frustrating.
It's the name of the movie that got people to watch it. And I understand that, you know, in real life, the bear did the cocaine, went into the next town and died. So that was it. Like, it didn't attack anybody. It literally just died from an overdose.
Yeah.
So, okay, you want to expand it and make him attacking everybody and all that. But it wasn't a good movie. And so many B movie filmmakers played off of that. And, you know, Cocaine Shark or Marijuana Jaguar, or it's just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. You know, I just thought of a YouTube live stream show that you and I should do, John, from time to time, and we'll just call it On a Tangent. And what we'll do, we'll pick one movie to start talking about, and then we'll see how many movies later, how many we have gone through.
That would be funny and fun, because it's boring doing tangents by yourself. Because I did a 43-minute one on Exorcist Believer, because I hated that movie and have said that you know, that the filmmakers should never make another movie again. You know,
well, did you hear the good news? Can I spread the good news? I know you want to hear the good word. You want to hear my gospel. But did you hear in the news this week, Jason Blum came out and said David Gordon Green is out of the Exorcist franchise, and they are quite possibly not even going to make the Deceiver movie at all.
Good.
But they are going, because they spent $400 million on the franchise, they are going to make more Exorcist movies, but they're going in a different direction. So I think a lot of people are just happy that David Gordon Green is out.
Yeah, and I love his comedy stuff that he does with Danny McBride. I mean, I think his comedies are hilarious, and he's a great comedy, you know, director and writer. But I was hoping that when you have somebody like this take on a franchise, you know, that they're not known for doing horror movies, that maybe something fresh would be brought to it. And no, I mean, Halloween was so hit and miss, and then Exorcist Believer just seemed like it was, and I'm going to get political for a second, the wokest movie I've seen in a very long time, you know, because they didn't want to offend one religion, so they brought in all religions to do The Exorcist, which is not how exorcisms work. It's a Catholicism thing.
And that is one element of how it was woke. It was very woke in a lot of elements, but I agree with you on that. And but what, you know, talking about him being good with comedies and stuff, when we look back at the original Exorcist, you know, or even Exorcist 3, the most intense part of those movies were the exorcisms. That was the grand finale. That was what we were all looking forward to. And in this one, in Believer, that exorcism was almost comedic. It was almost a joke. And so where you've had whatever buildup you've had to that moment in the movie where it was really supposed to hit a home run, yeah, the idea that we're bringing, Judaism and whatever other religions into an exorcism made no fucking sense at all. It really didn't.
No. And as you know, I'm not religious, but I know a lot about religion. And I was even offended, that they killed the Christian guy. They killed the priest who should have been performing the exorcism. They snapped his neck once, and they made him the coward. Yeah. But yet all the other religions were okay. And the whole thing of the patriarchy and having, Ellen Burstyn sitting there and going like, oh my God, really? You paid her like $1 million that she donated to a charity. Her character was pointless. And then she has to give us that stupid line about the patriarchy, which I said, I'm done. And I just, it's first of all, the reason why you weren't allowed in the room in the first movie is the reason to what happened to you in this remake. You got your eyes stabbed out because you're not a priest. You're not an exorcism. You're not, or an exorcist. You're not. That's why you weren't allowed. You were the mother of this girl, so they kept you out of the room so you wouldn't be hurt. It had nothing to do with the patriarchy, you idiot. And that's where I get so offended with this stuff.
Yeah,
because it's written by these men that want to be, so woke and not offend anybody that they end up offending all the fans of the original movies. And I'll even throw Exorcist 2 in there that I actually thought I kind of liked Exorcist 2, loved Exorcist 3, but which was a great movie just by itself. But
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, Exorcist 3. If you ever wanted to have an argument for best sequels ever, I mean, Aliens and Exorcist 3 are definitely in that conversation. I guess, and I mean, to get off of horror specifically, I mean, like Empire, that those three would definitely be, in that conversation.
Empire Strikes Back. Don't get me started on Star Wars. Don't get me started on Star Wars.
No, we can't do that.
Disney.
That is a tangent. We're not going down right now.
That is a tangent. That's my wanting Disney burnt to the ground. So
had with Exorcist Believer, had they taken those, and this would have been very unwoke of them to do this, had they said, okay, we're going to bring in the Jewish guy, we're going to bring in the Muslim, we're going to bring in these other religions, had the demon done something to them, like to show them, obviously in an exorcism movie, we're saying Catholicism is right because the demons are only defeated by the Catholic priests, blah, 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 whatever. If we're going to go and maybe in a sense either mock or make those religious authorities for the other religions, get them all killed because of how incorrect they are in their beliefs, because they should be, having Catholic faith to defeat this demon. If we were going to do something like that, go like, oh, you're Jewish, bam, you're dead. Oh, I hit my microphone. Or oh, you're Muslim, bam, you're dead because you're wrong. That would have been one thing. But let's go to the Hall of Justice and Wonder Twin powers unite and we'll all defeat it together, was hokey. It was hokey. And
I mean, Sam Raimi produced a film called The Possession, which dealt with a Jewish demon, and they had to go to the rabbis and all this stuff to defeat it. And that made perfect sense because it was a Jewish demon. Have you ever seen the film Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So Russell Brand's character, Elvis Snow, has, I think it's on his back or by his shoulder, it could be, where he has all the different religions tattooed on him. And so
I didn't
Sarah
know.
Marshall, near the end of the movie, points out to him what an idiot he is, because by having all of them, they conflict with each other, and you would
Yeah.
never have peace because each one thinks it's the true religion. And it's
Yeah.
the same thing with this. Like, why would you possibly bring in all these people, all these different religions, when you know that what defeated the, Pazuzu, what was the Catholic religion? And and of course, what girl died? The white
Oh,
girl,
yeah,
the
yeah,
rich
yeah,
white
no.
girl,
Yeah, yeah,
of course.
yeah. No, you know what? And that is another movie that, for the first and second act of Exorcist Believers, I was on board. I was like, I was okay with the idea. You know how they brought the black girl, white girl together. It wasn't replacing. We didn't replace Luke Skywalker with a female there. We just brought in a
No,
new character.
They're just friends.
That was fine. You know,
Yeah.
them getting lost in the woods, all that, a little Stranger Things-ish. But I was like okay with it. You know, but yeah, if you say, you know, the biggest flaw with that movie, it was the exorcism, that's for sure. And that it, you know, but I mean, fuck. Look what you know, look if fucking David Gordon Green, man. So we have the powwow of all the townspeople getting together to go after Michael Myers, you know, and then we have to get all the powwow of all the townspeople together, you know, to defeat this, you know, to do this exorcism and stuff. Like, can we just, you know, stick to the fucking script and, you know, understand that exorcism is about Catholic priests, and hey, if you're going to go kill off the Catholic priest, you better have a fucking replacement ready for him. And I'm sorry, if you're, you know, and you're defeating this demon because of your faith and the idea that, you know, the Savior Christ is coming to save you and help you because of your faith, you can't, you know, you're looking at the guy to your right going, well, you don't have faith, so fuck you. And your guy to your left, you don't have faith, so fuck you. How is this supposed to work? And so, yeah, frustrating to say the least.
Yeah, because and thank you, Jennifer, for agreeing. I appreciate that, because it's there are films where people lose their faith and then they regain it. I mean, Fright Night is a great one where, you know, our horror host doesn't believe in any of this stuff. So when he goes to defeat the vampire, he, you know, the vampire laughs at him and just grabs the cross and throws it away. Because he's like, you don't believe in this. You know, you're, but then later he does. And that's what helps defeat the vampire. So it's not, it just doesn't, the movie is horrible. It doesn't make sense at all. I own all of them in a box set, including like The Beginning and Dominion. And I would much rather watch any of those. I don't think Exorcist Believer will join my collection. It just can't.
Well, you know, and it's funny because I have always kind of, with franchises I love, been a completionist. So I think at some point Exorcist Believer will join my collection. One movie that will never join my collection is Jeepers Creepers 4.
Oh,
fuck that movie.
I liked it.
John, did you? It did not. I mean, the MO of the creeper completely changed in that movie, and you liked it. That's interesting. Boy,
I interviewed the writer of that for one film, one filmmaker, one film, and he told me a lot of the behind the scenes on why the movie is the way it is. And so I mean, I don't know if that makes up excuses, but it, you know, for the film. But it's I didn't mind it. You know, but a lot of people hate part 3, and I liked part 3 also.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know if Balzer is out here lurking or not tonight, but Balzer is the biggest Jeepers Creepers fan I know. And because of Balzer sent me one of these, and this is a good transition right here. Balzer sent me one of these, and then I bought another one because I want to get one signed by Oh, why am I forgetting his name? But the Creeper will be at Days of the Dead this coming weekend in Las Vegas.
Nice.
So I have one up on the wall I have to take down, and I have this one right here that I need to get one signed for me, and I need to get one signed for Balzer and send that back to him. The whole MO for the Creeper, I think, changed in the fourth one, and I didn't care for it. But Balzer asked me to review the franchise, and so I tried. I was going to do it on a live stream, and then everything just kind of went wonky, and I didn't get it done properly. But I think that would be a fun franchise for you and I to kind of revisit. Maybe in future videos, if we maybe kind of did deep dives into each film one at a time or something, at some point in the future. I think Balzer would appreciate that.
I got on my channel. I do film discussion once a month with Donald Wills, where we just pick a franchise.
Okay.
And actually, we could talk about anything we want. We're discussing this month the Hangover movies, and then do like 2 or 3 hour videos on just discussing the films. I also have 2 filmmakers review one movie, but I'm now branching it out into it could be a series. So I mean, you're always welcome to come on that if you want to do something like that too. But I enjoyed all 3 despite the director, and I still question Francis Ford Coppola, who's from the area that I grew up in, Marin County, why he kept producing these things.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I like Jeepers Creepers Reborn, and maybe it's because I just know inside information on it that people can. And I did see that. No reason to be sorry. Nobody likes it but me.
Yeah.
So
no, you are literally the only person that I've ever heard that wasn't. If you're a fan of the franchise, everybody else that I knew that was a fan of the franchise was furious with this movie. So that is interesting. But no, and I would be all for that. And one thing, before we do Luge, I wanted to mention everybody is that we are, as we move forward, from time to time. I'll be hanging out with John on his channel, Talking Movies, which link is down below for John.
Thank you.
And then hopefully we'll get John back here from time to time to dive into some other movies or like tonight on our Monday, the Horror Movie Mondays, where we're just talking, horror movies in general, but specifically the news of the week, and then kind of diving off into other horror movies. At some point that would be fun to your channel, my channel, either way, to dive into
we just watch
Jeepers
each
Creepers
one
franchise
and then just break down each one. And normally for like 4 movies, it would probably be 2 hours or so to find out. Hey, Billy the Kid, I am one of those people that did not like The Shining. I thought it was beautifully shot by Kubrick, but it didn't follow the book, and I agree with Stephen King, and I think his TV miniseries is much better.
And I think you're an asshole, John. I kid. But no,
a lot of people do when I say that. So I'm a Stephen King completist. It's got to be somewhat close to the book.
I love the fact. I mean, so going back into some of the history with Kubrick, in which Kubrick is one of the best directors of all time.
He is.
You hear stories about, Kubrick didn't want to do it, or, Kubrick, whatever his beef, the different reasons for his frustrations, his beef with Stephen King. I kind of loved some of the things, and especially, what is it? Room, oh my gosh, always Room 231, Room 213. Son of a bitch. What's the room in the movie?
As I'm sure somebody there will say.
Yeah, I have it over here. Hang on. I'll be right back.
I think I got it. Oh, it's 237. Eyes Wide Shut. I loved because it's 237.
Okay, I heard you over there. And I own this, and I've seen this a couple times. I haven't had to open this; it's still brand new. But I've streamed it a couple times, but I just loved it so much. This to me, have you ever watched this, John?
I haven't. I know it's on Tubi, and I do want to watch it.
I highly recommend it.
And Billy the Kid over there, he had mentioned Eyes Wide Shut, which I love because it's Tom Cruise. So and I'm a massive Tom Cruise fan. These are just the DVDs. My Blu-rays are all over there. So oh yeah, if Tom Cruise told me to go kill you, I would. So it's that simple. So,
I love Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise too.
So he forgives you.
Okay. So, but with this, with Room 2, I'm horrible with names altogether, just names in general. But Room 237, it's very interesting because it's just different, people in, filmmaking, different people involved with film in general, giving their theories and really breaking down the movie. And I absolutely love it. But anyways, there are, and I can't remember if it's this or other documentaries where they go into some of the jabs that Kubrick took at Stephen King in the making. For example, like in the book, it's supposed to be like a red Volkswagen, and in the film, it's a yellow Volkswagen. But then you see a red Volkswagen get smashed, by like a truck or whatever, and that's kind of like his, Kubrick given. Flipping a bird to Stephen King. So there's some interesting stuff like that with it. As a film, with what Kubrick did, and I have the book, and I've read the book, and I have the movie, and I've seen, it's one of those movies where like my wife will come home and I'll be sitting there watching The Shining, and she'll be like, The Shining again? Because it's just one of those. I mean, I've probably seen it 100 times, and it's one I could just watch over and over and over.
It's beautifully made. It's absolutely beautifully made.
Oh yeah. But it's one of those where I almost, I am grateful that Stephen King wrote the book, so we got the film. But it's one of those. I am not ever the guy to go like, well, the book should, the film should match the book. And cartoon or comic book superhero people are like, well, the superhero movies don't match the comic. If I already read the comic, I don't need to see the movie. If I already know the story, and so I'm okay with change. I know a lot of people are not, and they want it to line up. But I just love it. I have two favorite movies of all time that are tied. One day I might go with one day I might go with the other. And one of them is The Shining, and the other is Silence of the Lambs. Those are my untouchables, and they will elicit a fuck you every time you tell me they're not the greatest movie of all time.
And Silence of the Lambs doesn't follow the book perfectly. I mean, there's the with Crawford, the whole cancer thing is cut out. It's in the TV series, but it's the book close enough in feeling. I don't think Kubrick understood The Shining. I don't think he, and that's Stephen King would say the same thing. And yes, I do agree with Billy the Kid that the last Mission Impossible film was awesome, even though I do have problems with it. But so we'll see what happens with the next one. But I don't, which is why I think Mick Garris, who knows Stephen King, even though the miniseries is not made as well, the CGI is awful, but it does follow the book. Now with Dr. Sleep, I'm glad that Mike Flanagan followed the movie, so that the hotel is still there instead of the book, where the book it blows up, which is in the miniseries that it blows up.
Okay. So, and Dr. Sleep, man, oh boy, we could, I'm sure we'll go round and round on this. Dr. Sleep as a sequel to The Shining, I thought was, I just fucking hated every second of it.
Thank you, Robert.
But watching,
I loved it. It's Mike Flanagan. The man has not done anything wrong. He is perfect as a filmmaker.
If it was,
he is good.
If they cut off that first the first scene where you have
We're done here. We're done here. We're done.
Wendy, where you have, Wendy and Danny, and if you just eliminated all references to The Shining and made Dr. Sleep a standalone movie, I would have loved every second of it. I thought it was phenomenal. I really enjoyed the movie. Watching it, if you just edited out the scenes where it really refers to The Shining, I would have thought it was great. But right off the bat, when you get the little kid that's playing young Danny, and he's riding around in the big wheel, he's riding through the hotel, and he has this fucking smirk on his face. Danny Torrance was a troubled child. At no point in The Shining did he have any, like, a remote smile on his face. If you watch Dr. Sleep, that kid, and maybe the director should have said, hey, your mom's an ugly whore, and made him sad or something, whatever it took to make that kid sad. He should have done it, or somehow or another, that director should have got that kid to not have this kind of half-cocked smirk on his face. That kind of pissed me off. And surprisingly enough, as much of a Jack Nicholson fan as I am, I thought the guy that played Jack was fine. I thought he did fine, and even
that's E.T. That's the guy from E.T. who's in a lot of Mike Flanagan movies.
From E.T.
That's Elliot. That's
he's the one that played young Elliot in the movie E.T.
Yeah, that's
okay. I didn't love the film enough to like really dive
He's
into...
in a lot of Mike Flanagan films. So I'm also a simp for Mike Flanagan. So I love Mike Flanagan's work.
He looked the part enough to pull off Jack Torrance. He did. So I thought that was fine. And even Wendy was fine. I thought the girl they got, because you're not going to get somebody, I mean, she has a very, and I wish I could get my Shelley Duvall picture down, but she has a very unique look. And so to find somebody to cast to play, Wendy was tough, and I thought they did a phenomenal job with them. But just the kid with the smirk on his face, I was so pissed. And I get it. The Shining, it's about the shine. It's about them, kind of communicating, with each other. And I just thought they took it too far. I just thought they took the shine too far in Dr. Sleep. And if it was, if it just wasn't The Shining, I would have liked it better.
I think the way you feel about the kid is the way that I feel about Nicholson in The Shining. I thought Nicholson was completely miscast. You don't, in the book, he is an alcoholic, but he's not insane from the very beginning of the book. It's the same thing with the story of Sometimes They Come Back. It is the English teacher who's an ex-alcoholic, and because that's what Stephen King was. But it's when you hire a psycho to play a psycho, that's like Nicholson played the Joker, wasn't already the Joker. He was a very subdued, mellow gangster guy who then became the Joker. Unlike in this movie, it was Nicholson being insane throughout the entire film, and that really bothered me.
See, and that's why I really would love to hear your thoughts on this. Because for me, as I watched The Shining, I don't feel like Nicholson was insane at the beginning. I feel like he was just a drunk asshole. And you see him lose his mind throughout with, the typewriter changing colors, just different little signs throughout the film. You see him losing his mind. But Kubrick was so detail oriented that a casual view, and by no means am I saying that you're a casual viewer, but a casual viewer would never pick up on these things. And there's a lot of things even in here that I was like, oh, holy shit, that were very eye-opening to me. But I don't view the beginning of The Shining as Jack being crazy. I think it's, you see him start to kind of realize, or when the shine starts to take hold of him, that he starts to lose it as the film goes on.
Which is, if he stuck with the book a little bit more, that would have been better. Like him going down to the furnace room and finding all the history of the hotel and how he gets engrossed into it and he becomes part of this, and he ignores the boiler, which the guy said you have to pay attention to it because it will blow up. And I just didn't think that he did it, and that I don't know. I can watch The Shining any day of the week. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just prefer the miniseries because it is closer to the book, and I don't have to be that guy who's at the book, but I would like something from the book. I am the type of person who will watch something and I'll be researching it online at the same time as I'm watching it.
I'm with you.
So,
if I see something interesting, I'll have my phone and I will be, and it's funny because like if I watch movies with that Fat Samurai guy, movie starts, phone is down. We're watching movie. But for me, I'm like, if I see something interesting, or I'm like, do I recognize that person? I'll be on my phone, like researching or Googling things. So I'm with you there. And now, and so because of my love for The Shining, I own the miniseries. I have just never watched it. Because of not necessarily my resentment, but my fear that it may change my opinion of The Shining. And I don't want that to happen. But anyways, I do need to watch it. It's been on my list of things to get around to. Andrew, I'm in the UK. It's so late, but staying up. Great chat, guys, tonight. Well, thank you very much for that, Andrew. Appreciate you always hanging out with us and, join us when you can. And I know, in the UK, gosh. So I don't know. Time change always screws me up. So I would say it's probably 4:30 in the morning over there.
I was thinking 4.
Yeah. So, it is very late. And it's funny, speaking of time change, here comes another tangent, that every time time change comes around, you always get these politicians going, oh, it's time to end time change. Let's just set it here. And I agree wholeheartedly.
You're
time
right.
change is an archaic thing that maybe was designed to help farmers. But it's you know what, just we don't need it anymore. And I think there's one reason alone that we have time change. And it is because they want people to check their smoke detectors. Because we all think, oh, it's time change. It's time to check our batteries and our smoke detectors. Because we are too stupid to remember to do that on our own.
I had no idea.
It's something that you always hear on TV commercials and ads. The fire department always says time change is time to check, your batteries or change your batteries and your smoke detectors. So I just, I want one time. I want it to stay the same. And, I'm okay with, what? We hear all this shit in science about our Earth rotating on its axis and it gets darker and this and that earlier. Let us enjoy that. Let us appreciate that. When it's Halloween and if it should be 5:00 and getting dark, and now we don't change time till a week after Halloween, so it's light when kids are out trick-or-treating. Screw that shit. I want it to be dark at 5:00. I want to go trick-or-treating in the dark. I want my haunted house to scare the pants off of kids when they come up to my house because it's dark. I don't want them to be able to see my magic and all my tricks and everything because it's still daylight.
I want it to be as bright as possible, always for filming purposes. I don't like when people say we could only film till 4:30 because it's starting to get dark. If it starts to get dark at 6 or 7, that means we can film longer instead of having to come back. So that's my thing. Now, to go back to the Shining miniseries for a second, you might find it boring. A lot of people find it boring. I love The Shining. The Shining is my favorite Stephen King adaptation, even though it's not exactly the book. and it's also Mick Garris, and a lot of people find it boring. And I
Okay.
don't think it is at all. But people do find the miniseries to be slow because it's the entire it's it's the book, it's long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and so and gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the name of this movie. But there are movies that people have said to me that you may think this is boring because it's long and drawn out. My thought is, if every scene, even if it's a slower scene, if it's progressing the story, if the scene we're watching is important to the story, I'm okay with slower paced movies. Pardon me. But, and I got to go back here because I'm drawing a blank. I have to go back because I suck at names.
well, while you're looking that up, Billy the Kid, George Lucas is not God. I'm sorry. He was God, and then he wasn't God, and now he's God again, only because of the Disney friggin' sequels. Those made the prequels look like gold. But I used to live right next door to George Lucas in Marin County, up on this hill that goes over from San Anselmo to San Rafael. And I used to see him walking around all the time. I used to help all the people at Lucasfilm at the video store I worked at. So I used to be a very big person in the way that I knew all these people. So, and I don't mean big as in like ego big. I mean like it was a big thing in Marin County. So
Prince of Darkness, John Carpenter.
Great movie.
Love it. It is a slower paced John Carpenter movie. And Phat Samurai guy told me, he goes, you might not like it because it is slower paced. I love it because as it's going, there may not be a lot of action in certain scenes, but as you're going along, every scene is adding to the story. They're not wasting your time. I am by no means knocking in any way, but it is very interesting. You had mentioned something earlier about Las Vegas Frankenstein, which I did notice in the film. Your scene with the Elvises, you could have pulled that out. It didn't need it, but it's a different type of movie. It's a different animal altogether. Your scene in that wasn't critical to the story.
No.
As we look at movies, like if as long as the movie is every scene is progressing the story, I'm okay if it's slower paced. If it's fast paced and it's gory, who cares, or whatever. If it's fun, I don't care. Add whatever meaningless, pointless scenes and make it fun. That's fine. But like Prince of Darkness is just the one that I was thinking there, that it is an excellent film. It's one of John Carpenter's slower paced films. The end is phenomenal. The third act is great. Everything leading up to it, but I'm okay. So I need to watch Stephen King's The Shining.
Have you? It's part 2 of Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy.
Prince of Darkness.
So yeah, part 1 is The Thing, part 2 is Prince of Darkness, and part 3 is In the Mouth of Madness. So they're all cosmic horror, H.P. Lovecraft type movies, and it's his doomsday films that each movie ends basically with the end of the world, and they're known as his apocalypse films. And so it's I think they're 3 of his best movies. I love Prince of Darkness, especially that soundtrack. You and I got to see him live. We saw him live here in Las Vegas. Remember?
I know, phenomenal. And I have a video up on the channel. I just recently uploaded. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Balls to the wall here. Balls out. Let's upload the John Carpenter playing the Halloween theme song from that event. I have uploaded on my channel, so you could go watch that if you so desired. I did not attempt to monetize it because I knew YouTube would throw a fit immediately, and I'm surprised they haven't pulled it down yet. But it's out there. But a phenomenal concert. I wish we had a little bit better seats. We're a little bit closer, but that was fine. I mean, well, we didn't have seats at all. We were standing
we
in the
stood
background.
in the back. Yeah.
With Greg, and it was fine. I enjoyed the shit out of that concert. I really, really did, and I really hope that he does another one at some point. And
he keeps bringing out albums.
Yeah, I know, and that's when I bought this, with the album, that comes inside there, or whatever you call it, the vinyl that's in there is really cool. But I hope he does do another tour. I would absolutely love that. I would go see him again in a minute. But man, we've been going for a while. John, you had said you would give me an hour, and
I should probably take off. My food's been sitting in the oven.
that hour has turned into about 2 hours and 10-15 minutes now. So
yeah, well, it's been fun. So with
it
you
has.
and wait, what's that I'm looking at? With you and all these fine folks here.
Yeah,
I'm having a good time. So
yeah, no, it's always fun. I love doing videos live is so much more fun to me because the interaction with the viewers. And one thing, I always feel a little bad, and I always apologize for neglecting or missing some of the comments because we get so deep into conversation, especially when, I have, other, guests on that I would only be able to get once in a while, or if ever, that, we ignore some of the comments. So I apologize to everybody if we've missed any of your comments, but it has been a lot of fun. And everybody, if you have not already, John's links are down below if you'd like to see his YouTube channel, and I believe a link to your maybe Facebook page or something there. But there, I have a couple links where everybody can find you.
I'm not like Philip. I don't do this type of stuff unless it's with somebody else. I just do my channel for fun. So it's just a lot of videos on, hey, this is what I bought at Goodwill, or oh, this is a review for a movie I did. But it's thank you, Billy. So it's a little more, I don't know, it's not as exciting. But I have one coming out tomorrow with Jonathan Moody. It's actually a part 3 to why physical media is important. So the first video is with Cliff Macmillan, who is one of the founders of Scream Factory, and he's a good friend of mine for 30 years. And we talked for about 2 hours just on physical media and Scream Factory. And then the second one, and now he works for Arrow. So the second one was my collection on Arrow. And now the third one is just random stuff that Jonathan and I like, and just talking about the importance. But we hold stuff up, it's just like, oh, I bought this and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I got tired of YouTube copywriting me all the time, or closing my account like they did once. So it's like, nope, not doing it anymore. Nope. Now it's that's just why I own this.
Yeah, I won't show trailers or anything, but I do. Let me scoot over here so I don't. I put up slides here. So as I talk about different things, I won't do trailers or any type of video. The ballsiest I get. The ballsiest I get anymore is this. This is 9 seconds. Give me 9 seconds of your life right now. And anytime somebody, brings up Pumpkinhead, and half the time I forget, but when we bring up Pumpkinhead, I like to, remind them what they're asking for has a name. So, but yes, you're being, you're rolling the dice if YouTube is going to ban you or anything.
So many people. I subscribe to so many, YouTubers out there that constantly I watch their video, and then I have to go do something, and then I come back and it's gone.
Yeah.
And then they bring it up like 3 hours later because they had to cut something out of it. So it's like, nope, ain't doing that. So my channel, I hope I'm interesting enough that people want to watch it, because it's literally this. It's just, that's my background and all that. And to answer Billy the Kid, Arrow Video. So it's another distribution company.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like
a vinegar syndrome, or
Yeah, they're like a boutique type company. So that's and with the way that video is going these days, it you got to talk about it and save it. So I mean, just as an example, I mean, this is just what's sitting. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
That's
I see your stack of movies, and I I can't raise you. I think you've got me beat right there. But
well, right there, there's two bookshelves back there.
Yeah.
There's all this stuff here. I got this one by my refrigerator. I got these stacked here. This is and that my bedroom is, you can't even see my bedroom. And up here, there's stuff too. There's even a Ginger Dead Man that Tom Devlin gave me.
Nice.
Is way up
Nice.
there. So
yeah, what you need to do, have you ever done a collection tour video?
Yeah, kind of, but not really. It's more like I'll show off a stack or like a filmmaker or a company or something. But I haven't walked around the apartment. So
yeah,
I'm a little paranoid about that. I don't live in the best area.
Well, but so this is what I would recommend. People really enjoy, and they're always asking me like, they want to see my autograph collection update or something. But maybe, just, with the camera kind of showing, I mean, relatively close. You don't have to show your whole house or anything, but, this is this shelf. I have, a few of these movies and this is that, just kind of going around with it after you get it all put away. I've got because I keep everything alphabetized and see I know you're particular with your collection as well, but you keep yours categorized more than specifically alphabetized, right?
Recently, I've done it to company, especially the boutique companies.
Okay.
So this is all Wild Eye. And then it goes down into stuff like the Horror Pack, Vinegar Syndrome, Olive Films, and it will go down like that. But I won't do like Warner Brothers or Paramount. That's too hard because there's so many of them. But
yeah,
I want to keep the Full Moon is with Full Moon, Roger Corman is with Roger Corman, that type of thing.
Yeah, and I don't have enough boutique labels. I would have a small Vinegar Syndrome shelf. Well, I don't know now, but or like a Severin Films. But I just I have everything in alphabetical order.
Jaws
and I take I don't know if I've ever shown you this, which is funny because not being a fan of, I'm not going to get enough light. You'll never see it. But I have a Richard Dreyfuss autographed Funko Pop from Jaws, which don't ask me why I have
Jaws. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. It's in my top 5.
Yeah, and you are one of the guys that I always joke about how I hate Jaws, just to
ruffle
your
you do, and I don't understand that, so that's okay. I understand not watching all the other ones, but but Jaws is such a classic.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It just doesn't. It's okay, and I should love. I mean, based on where it's supposed to take place, and like, what is it? Not Martha's Vineyard, right? Is it
It's Martha's Vineyard, yeah.
Is it Martha's Vineyard? Okay.
It's in Amityville, yeah, but it's Martha's Vineyard, yeah.
Okay. But just being like, I love Boston, I love New England, that area. So I mean, there's a lot of things about it. It's a horror movie. It's got a great cast. But it's a monster movie. I mean, it's it's a shark, but
kind
yeah,
of.
I know. Maybe I'll watch it again one day and really change my opinion on it. I'm not sure.
Now, Billy the Kid says Jaws, Red Dawn, and Close Encounters. Now, Red Dawn is not Spielberg, so that's but Red Dawn is still a great movie.
They're all 3 phenomenal movies. Yeah. They're classics, whether I like them or not. But no, I love Red Dawn. I've not seen the remake. Have you seen the remake?
Don't. It's we worship and shill to China so much, and I friggin' hate this shit that China said they would not play Red Dawn, the remake, in China if they did not, because China is the one that invades the U.S. in this version, not Russia.
Okay.
And they said unless you change everything from China to something else, it's not playing over here. And we, of course, immediately changed everything to unknown villain with logo that we've never seen before because we're so afraid of China. Unlike friggin' Tom Cruise, who would not take the Tibet patch off of his jacket in Top Gun Maverick and said, "Screw you, China," and still made over $1 billion. So there you go.
What a great movie. Now, here we go, another tangent. Are you excited, or what are your thoughts on the fact that they are in development on a third Top Gun movie?
I don't know if it's necessary. I know it has the 3 leads. I don't know who's directing it. But it better be good. I know that they have the last Mission Impossible film. They've removed the part 1. They're not calling it Dead Reckoning Part 2. And I think they're re-editing the movie because it bombed, which made me very sad. I've seen the film like 5 times. I even own a replica of the cruciform key, and because I liked it so much. But and it's not my favorite Mission Impossible film, but I think it just got lumped in with stuff and it just didn't do well. So I don't know. Top Gun Maverick was it was a film that nobody asked for. It's a film that nobody wanted. And it just hit. Just because there was no agenda. There was diversity within it without throwing it in your face. There was no political, agenda behind it. It was basically Star Wars. It was the trench run in Star Wars, but for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just a great action movie. You could call it propaganda, for the military or whatever, but I loved it. I don't mind a part 3 if it's good.
That's what so growing up, I grew up 5 minutes from Miramar, and I mean, from when the Blue Angels would come for the air shows, we could sit on our roof and I could see the gigantic sign on the side of the building. One said like Fighter Town, USA, and the other actually said Top Gun. It was painted, not for the movie. It truly was Top Gun. And I used to go to air shows at Miramar every single year. And when they were filming Top Gun, we saw because we knew something was up. Because the F-14s were flying in a wrong pattern. They would always take off from Miramar and they would go, high in the sky and head north. Well, otherwise, when they were coming into land, they would come in and they would bank to the south and loop around and then land. During the filming, they were going backwards. And so we were like, what the hell? And they were flying right over my house. And I remember sitting out there watching, and I was like 10 years old or whatever when they were filming, going like, what the heck is this? And then we heard they were filming a movie, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. And then it was Top Gun, and we all loved it, especially with the connection living in San Diego, right there by the base. And it was an amazing movie. And it was one of those movies where we were like, if they ever make a sequel, they better not fuck it up. And they did. They really hit it out of the park. And then now we're hearing that there's going to be a third, and it is so hard to make 2 movies that you don't have much to complain about at all. When Top Gun, I went the night, like the early premiere. It was not even like the Thursday early watch. It wasn't the Wednesday. This was like a Tuesday, 1 theater, 1 showtime in like every city. And so I have a special poster from that. And then I have a second special poster that Ortega sent me from the second night. I have pins and buttons that you only got on that first night when you walked in that theater.
Yeah, that and Mission Impossible. I got that stuff too.
Nice. So I walked in the theater. People were in aviator costumes and suits and everything. Everybody, Southern California is so huge for military. So it got the biggest round of applause. I mean, and when it started and you heard the first tones, and I love the fact that they went with the same damn song that they used at the beginning of the first one, when you're seeing the montage up on the deck of the aircraft carrier and you hear that song come on, and it was just like goosebumps. Immediate goosebumps.
Yeah, it was almost shot for shot. There's YouTube videos of them comparing the two, and it's almost shot for shot. And yeah, it's still Kenny Loggins. It's not a remake or anything.
Yes.
And Billy, I will say happy birthday. You mentioned that it's your birthday. And thank you for
happy
service.
birthday, Billy. Yeah.
But it's we'll see. Cruise. I don't think it's anybody's fault that the last Mission Impossible movie did poorly. I think just basically Barbenheimer knocked everything out. And so did Sound of Freedom. Nobody expected Sound of Freedom to make the amount of money that it did. Indiana Jones bombed. All these big sequels that had a huge budget bombed. And it was just the wrong time for, I think, Mission Impossible to come out. If it was a month later or a month earlier, it would have done better. And I think they were banking off of Top Gun Maverick to that it was going to make a ton of money, and it just didn't. There are rumors out there that Cruise is going to be working with Tarantino, and so we'll see how that goes, because he's got a deal now set up. It's with Paramount and Warner Brothers, and he wants to make a movie in space. He wants to actually fly to space and make a movie in space. And I think Tom Cruise is the only guy who can probably do that. And he works for the same people over and over, so.
They better take Samuel Jackson with them. I want a true motherfucker in space. Oh, man. Well, John, I know I took us onto another tangent right there. And I'm just going to say this. This is the last thing I wanted to mention. I did get this. Drew Marvick in this, as well as a Killer Santa Claus. I've yet to watch this. Have you seen this?
I know that. Yeah, I have seen it. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's cool. Anthologies are always hit and miss. You're in my anthology, which is Reign of Violent Screams, which Tom Devlin might be bringing out. We never know. It's been talked about. Nice.
Okay.
And I just need to film a couple more. I need to film one segment for me, and then I need to do the wraparound with Drew Marvick, and then we'll see what happens. But I tried to get movies that I did not think were hit and miss. So I'm hoping that everybody likes what's on there. I mean, I rejected some and just said, no, this is something I wouldn't want to watch in a different anthology. So so it should be good.
Yeah, very cool. Well, we'll be looking forward to that, and I would ask you more questions and stuff, but all for another day. But John, thanks for hanging out with us this evening and bringing your insight and your thoughts. And we'll do it again soon. And whenever I join you on your channel, I'll make sure that everybody's aware that we're going to be over there doing that and having some fun. So enjoy your dinner, and we will see you soon, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip, and thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I really appreciate your comments. So,
all right, okay, John. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
And John Ward, what a fun night here. We've got some fun news that we've talked about, and then we went into a bunch of different films, which is really what this Horror Movie Monday is all about: is talking horror movies and talking about the news and really kind of focusing on horror movies. And so we'll kind of recap the news real quick before I wrap it up here. We're almost at 3 hours. But thank you, everybody. If you haven't yet and you're already here, please hit that thumbs up button for me if you would. So coming up, we don't have anything big in theaters coming out this week that I, as far as the way of horror movies and stuff. But next week, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. I'm looking forward to that. It does look a lot better. I'm hoping it impresses me more than the last one. But Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire next week. Immaculate, about like a nun who becomes, pregnant, and the bad things happen and stuff. It looks good. Watch the trailer if you haven't seen it yet. And then Late Night with the Devil. All three of those look pretty good. Thanks for Robert for supporting John over there. I'm sure he appreciates that, and I appreciate you spreading the love all around, all the homies here. But out now, if you want to go see something in the theaters now, I recommend, I don't know if I recommend, but there are 3 movies out that you can go see: Imaginary, Dune 2, and Kung Fu Panda 4. I would probably, if I was going to go see one of those, I would probably go with Kung Fu Panda 4. But also news noteworthy here. Final Destination Bloodlines, it's the 6th installment in that franchise, is now filming, and creator Jeffrey Reddick has said that this will bring a whole new layer to that franchise, but that's about it. We don't know anything else. The first Omen will be coming out on April 5th. Looks good, and they say it introduces us to the mother of all evil. It's a prequel to the Omen films. It looks good. I'm very much looking forward to that. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, coming out 3 days in theaters, March 26th, 27th, 28th, and I could not give a rat's ass. I just don't care. The first one was so bad. I don't intend on seeing this one. And then the Halloween TV show that's in development or being talked about has nothing to do with David Gordon Green. I think we're all happy to hear that. And the foundation, what they call the foundation for that show, will be the Halloween 78 movie. I don't know if it's going to be, a supposed sequel to that of sorts or what, but they said the foundation of the TV show will be the Halloween 78 movie. So that's good. And then the Exorcist franchise, Jason Blum says David Gordon Green is out. He will not be directing the next Exorcist movie. And even the whole Deceiver premise or Deceiver script may be scrapped. The script scrapped, and there will be another Exorcist movie coming, but they're just not sure what or when yet. So kind of interesting notes there. David Gordon Green getting shown the door from 2 franchises we love, I think, is a good thing. But with that being said, it's been fun, everybody. There shall be videos to come. Days of the Dead is happening this weekend. I have a couple license plates to get autographed, and we should be seeing the Creeper there, having a little fun with the Cinestalker. Should be a blast. I'm very much looking forward to that. Look for videos to come from that this weekend, and subsequent videos edited and put up afterwards. And then next Monday, we'll be back doing this again. The Horror Movie Monday. It's going to take a while. I got so used to saying like EMAG or whatever, but the Horror Movie Monday show, 7 p.m. on the Pacific Coast here every Monday. We're going to be doing it. So thank you very much for hanging out, everybody. Have yourselves a great night. I appreciate y'all, and take care of yourselves. I will see you. I don't know if I'll be live again before next week, but if I don't see you before, I will definitely, maybe live from Days of the Dead. You never know. But I'll see you soon, everybody. Take care.